Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 211 of Beer and Other Shit, the podcast Adjunct series. Whoa, what was that? This evening, folks, we're heading down to New York State. This is something we haven't done very much. I would love to do it way more than we have been. And I connected with this brewery on Instagram probably a couple months ago. Took a look at what they're doing. I'm like, damn, this looks pretty damn fire. And over the weekend, we were in Albany, so I swung by their Syracuse location to pick up some beers, and I'm very excited to get the full story. They're a farm-based brewery. I forget the name of, or I'm going to mispronounce it, really is what it is, which I'll let them say the name properly so I don't do it any disrespect. But yeah, I'm keen, man. Love New York State. Obviously it's our closest neighbor. It's technically closer for me to go to New York State than it is to Toronto. So it's a place that I go really regularly. Huge fan of everything. I've been discovering it since we moved here 3 years ago, and it's been really cool. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everything they're doing. I think it's an exciting beer scene. So I'm super stoked to get to the story. So, folks, let me see if I can do this as smooth as possible here. Please welcome Jimmy and Jordan of Myers Creek in the building.
How's it going?
Gentlemen, welcome. Great to have you. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. This is great.
Genuine pleasure. Excited to get into it. So lots to talk about, but we're going to kick off with the beer. We are starting crispy. And this is this fair to say this is a flagship?
Yeah. So this is there's, we kind of have two flagships. This is like kind of our tap room flagship. Like this is our number one seller in the tap room. I think that's like one of the things, we've got pretty large tap room space out in Cazenovia, and, you're going to get people from all over, people that like beer, people that don't like beer. So you kind of, people that kind of, just drink kind of the domestic, like lagers, stuff like that. So, you always got to have something that is kind of appeal to the masses. And that's kind of where we, where we went with this one, just a real traditional classic German style Pilsner. I'll let Jimmy get it kind of into the more of the details of it. But yeah, this was, probably the first lager that we ever brewed.
Oh, wow. This head is bonkers, and it's crystal clear too. Damn. Yeah, Jimmy, tell us more about this one. So 4.5% Pilsner. Do you know details of some of the ingredients and such?
Yeah, Hops. So we're using Tettnang, Hirschberger, and can't think of the other one off the top of my head.
I think it's Hallertau Mittelfroh.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
We traditionally try to keep our lagers about 6 weeks in tank before we move it over. That's our goal, but we even go longer on this guy, to keep it nice and crisp.
I love it. This looks awesome. First and foremost, gentlemen, cheers. Great to have you.
Cheers, Craig. Absolutely. Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Nose is great. Money. Wow, that's great. So it's only 4.5, which is like really like, is it German style or Czech style? I guess it's going to taste German to me.
Yeah, definitely German style.
German style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is money. Has this been around essentially since? I guess it has been, right? Because it's the first Pilsner you brewed. Did it immediately kind of just hit, and people were just like, "Yep, let's go."
Yeah, it kind of did. We've had another brewer that's kind of been on staff. He was, since like the beginning. His name's Guy. He's our large resident German. So big dude. And he's been brewing for, I think he said he started brewing at Pabst in 1983. So
he's like
he's been all over. He's been at Dixie down in Louisiana. He's been at some places in Pennsylvania, and then he was at Gordon Biersch here. Was kind of where he was before us, but then they kind of closed down like kind of all of their shops.
Right.
And guy was looking to come on and brew, and he's been not going to ask guy to brew a hazy IPA, but anything in the that like traditional German Czech style, like he's like all over it.
We let him run with it.
Yeah.
He's been making minor tweaks to it. Each
I can
batch,
tell here on top that says 4.2%. Now it's 4.5. So I guess it's sort of like just slowly changing as time goes on.
Yep.
Remind me what the third hop. So it was Herzbrucker, Hallertau, Mittelfeuer, and
Tettnanger.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. And so was this his brainchild, or was this kind of like his?
Yeah, he definitely had a lot of influence on this one.
Okay.
Yep. Any kind of lagers is kind of his thing. Anything lager style is we let Guy run with it.
He just does his thing.
He does his thing.
That's probably the best way to go, right? If that's his time and he's going to make it as best as possible. To the point though, where it's like a staple in the tap room. So it's a flagship as far as the tap room, meaning it's always going to be on year round. Is it in distro too? Is that something that people can pick up? And see
Yep. So that's like through distro, it's our number one selling draft beer. Like Velvet Fog would be our number one selling like package beer,
which we're going to get to.
It'd be 4-pack, 16 ounce, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, Floatin On By is like a lot of bars kind of carry that locally as their kind of like house pilsner line.
Gotcha. Hey, look, that's a pretty good spot to be in with this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you've seen, I've kind of been in this industry for like 18 years now, and I've kind of seen it, change stylistically. And, I kind of see everything kind of going back to something a little bit lower ABV, more sessionable, something that you're going to be able to drink, 2, 3, 4 of, instead of like, a double IPA that like is going to ring it 0.75%. And, how many of those can you really drink before you're like, oh man, I got to go.
I agree wholeheartedly. That's what we've been seeing from just trends online, but all the basically the guests are saying the same thing too. That's what they're seeing. So it is interesting. It's almost like I always thought the rise of the lager was arguably from the brewers, because that's what the brewers wanted to drink. And it was like when the haze thing was peaked, 2017, 18 type of thing. And it was all, it's all you wanted. And I was so bored of like lagers. And it's sort of like, they just like, I feel like the brewers they're like, no, we're brewing one. We're going to make it sick because I want to drink it. And it almost like just got people excited about it again, because lagers were so good and slow pouring and Luca taps and all this stuff. It just seemed like a really like cool eco. Does that sound somewhat accurate from what you guys have seen?
Yeah,
definitely.
100%.
I think it's dope. I feel like it's great to go to a brewery. Like, do you guys do Luca taps for this at all?
We did, but kind of the way our bar is configured, it was like a little bit because you have to, we had to put an adapter on the shank that goes in, so it kind of stuck out over the bar. And
it's drip tray, right?
Beer all over the place, the drip tray. So there is one, but it's in the lab that the boys use kind of in their office. So they've got one on there. I think it's the Czech Dark.
Now, so we got to check dark. We had to utilize that lucre. We couldn't let it sit in a box.
It'd kind of be rude to spend all that money and just let it go.
Oh, we didn't let it go.
No,
it's crazy.
That'd be dangerous. That's why I always wanted a lucre at home. I'm like, I don't know if I should. I feel like that would just be just a little splash.
They're awesome. It's really like the best way to pour like any type of pilsner or lager beer.
No question. I love it, dude. This is fantastic, guys. This is great. Like nice and like biscuity malts. I feel like there's like a touch of like sort of lemony, citrusy, kind of just a little hint in there. Nice, grassy, bitter, but extremely balanced, extremely crushable. Like at 4.5, it's a money zone for it. So much flavor. Like I can see why this would be like a top seller for sure. That's fire.
Yeah, and I know Jimmy and Guy have kind of been like tweaking that beer. I think probably more than any of our flagships. Like nothing crazy to where like most people that drink Float On By, like they're not going to notice, but like we're going to notice. And like I'll let Jimmy kind of know, but I know he did a few different things, and I think it's like evolved into like a perfect German style pilsner.
And that's something we, with both our flagships, Floatin On By and Velvet Fog, you can't make those huge tweaks, because people are going to be like, what's going on? So if we make those tweaks just very minor throughout the batches, and then we can pick up our notes and just be like, well, what can we add either hot side or cold side or, in the boil as we go. And then just the next batch, we know where to put something going forward.
Gotcha. Have you guys ever, for that exact reason, so obviously you can't really go hard and tweak a flagship of sorts, but have you ever just like, all right, let's just brew a new Pilsner that's basically the same thing and do something kind of a little crazy, something that would cause too many problems with this beer to just test it out to see if it's worth it? Is that like something you guys have done?
Yeah, Jimmy, we did that. We were like kind of experimenting with like a like kind of low cal,
Nice.
like light lager,
Okay.
Lux lager, we were calling it, and it was kind of, I liked it, but I think everyone kind of like had a couple, and then they were like, all right, I'm gonna kind of go back to float a little bit. So
that's kind of where we wanted. So with that Lux lagers, because a lot of people nowadays seem like they, like we were talking about, want low ABV, and they also are looking for lower calories, the health benefit, So that's where we were trying to shoot for, was something that would benefit both of those, because you do see a lot of people starting to trend towards seltzers, with the lower, not malt base, lower calories, all that. So with the Lux lager, we were trying to shoot for something like around that realm in a beer.
Same calories of that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Is a seltzer still going hard down there?
Seltzers
Yeah, I mean, seltzers are definitely still a thing, but it's kind of gotten away from like the malt-based seltzers or sugar-based seltzers.
Okay.
Kind of like the Trulies and the White Claws and stuff like that. And, now you see a lot of high noons, and, kind of what I see is like a lot of people are going like that non-carbonated route too, like the teas, like the vodka teas.
That are non-carbonated.
Surfside, Sun Cruiser, which Sun Cruiser is a Boston beer product.
Okay.
So like Sam Adams. But yeah, it's like a non-carbonated vodka tea in a can.
What? I'm just Googling it now. It looks like high noon.
Yeah.
That's cheeky.
And they're like pretty dangerous too. Like they don't really taste like
They're
like
4.5.
sometimes on a golf course, like it's not a bad thing to have, it doesn't like it, but like after a couple, like I'm just drinking iced tea. Like I don't know.
Right. You don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
That's
so
kind of, I'm not mad at that, dude. I see what you're talking about. Oh, so Surfside is the other brand, Sun Cruiser. I see what you're saying. I thought they were.
Yeah. Surfside is like, I think comes from like the Stateside brand of like, I think it just started as like a vodka company. Gotcha. And then they kind of switched into this like Surfside, like iced tea. So they did like the teas and the lemonades, but they're all like non-carbonated.
That's so interesting. I even found an ad here. It's like big no bubbles, like for that.
Yeah.
Interesting. That just seems odd, but I guess it makes sense for tea. Okay, interesting. One thing I did notice, which we don't have to go too into this, but it's something that's very unique to the States. It doesn't happen here because I guess the way the law's set up, but the THC drinks are like breweries are just knocking them out. Those typically seem to be seltzer-based or malt-based seltzers, I guess, with flavoring. And
yeah, so pretty much they're pretty much, it's more just like a soda essentially, because like, you can do like the THC, but you cannot mix it. You can't have like a THC and alcohol combined in the same thing.
Yeah, true.
So like it's, mostly just like soda water and like
some flavoring and
and then they're kind of they're just doing their dosing rates and all that stuff. But I'll tell you, it's coming. Like it's going to be a thing. Like, I know there's some legislation in front of the Senate now that, because right now, really, like a lot of the big distributors, like, because it's all getting governed by the state liquor authority.
Okay.
So like
So it's state by
the
state.
government entity that controls the sale and distribution, all the laws around liquor, wine, and beer, they're going to kind of take THC like kind of under their umbrella and kind of regulate it the same.
Right.
So, but right now, like a lot of the big distributors, because it's very gray in how things can be bought and sold and purchased, especially with it still being like federally illegal. A lot of the big distributors are kind of staying out of it, but I guess there is some legislation where, it would make it a little bit more black and white. So they're probably going to get into it. And I know like licenses for retail sale, like, an independent bottle shop, I've seen a lot of independent bottle, like, craft beer bottle shops that like have expanded that THC selection like a lot. Like my friends over at Branching Out Bottle Shop and like, just out in the suburbs outside of Syracuse, Camillus, like, they still got the best selection of beer around easily, but their selection of the THC seltzers is definitely like not shrinking. So, so there's definitely, it's not going to go anywhere. I don't think,
Yeah, it seems to be. I feel like I just, do you know what's funny? Right before we started, I got an email from Untapped advertising THC seltzers from.
Really?
Let me see what the company was called because I hadn't heard of it before.
Mm-hmm.
Orchard THC drinks, and I don't know. I imagine they think I'm in the States or something. Sending it because here it's federally legal, so you can do it. So we just went to Albany for the weekend, and I wanted to get some drinks, and I had to go to a weed store to get them. But in Florida, they had them at like Total Wine, and they had a massive section, like tens and tens and tens, like maybe like 100 different ones. Maybe that's exaggerating, but not too far off. Like it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. And Florida was like the last time I was there. This was this year, and then 2 years ago it was you had that Delta 8 or whatever the shit one is.
Yeah. Like not the actual THC. It's like the hemp derived one, which is like
like some sciencey fucking variant of it that was like not good and didn't really do the trick. And the numbers weren't the same as THC. Like 10 milligrams meant, I don't know, like you'd have to have 30 or 40 of the other one to make it.
It was
like you had to do math. It was crazy, but it was interesting just seeing, like brewed and bottled in Lewiston, which I guess you probably might have dealt with.
Chris, my boy Chris Budd.
Hell yeah, I love Chris. He's a friend. He's a champion. So I love every time I go in there.
He's a good dude.
Stack. He's a champion. Yeah, right there. Like that's obviously the Canadian plug right there because he has everything and everyone's I bump into Canadians there all the time. It's funny.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So is this world? I only brought it up just because we're talking about seltzers, and I find that it's a. Is it something that you guys are going to or wanting to get into at all?
We've definitely we've been doing a lot more like just like the sugar-based seltzers, just to kind of satisfy our taproom crowd, stuff like that. We've got a like an RTD kind of in the works right now. Nice. Something that we got in formulation, which will be like coconut water based.
That's cool.
Like kind of one tequila variant, one vodka variant, different flavors. So that's kind of like in formulation is like, we can all see the writing on the wall. Obviously we still want to, our main focus is beer, but, we got to kind of just make sure that we're kind of diversified a little bit. And, it may be a Myers Creek brand. It may be something that's completely separate of Myers Creek. It might just have its own name and, kind of branding and everything like that. So, all of those things are kind of still getting worked on.
Totally.
So, but we're just kind of trying to figure out the product right now.
That makes sense. Thank you for that. I'm just very curious because it's such an interesting thing, and I've seen pros and cons of it from different folks south of the border, just talking about how they feel and different. So I totally see all the different sides. Obviously, but it almost feels to me the same as just alcoholic seltzers. If that's where the market's going in, and there's an interest at least within the team, within that business, that there's a fit, then, why not?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I think there's just a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of gray area in terms of what you can do and what you can't do.
So it's better to just
and
wait.
how exactly, like, so until things are kind of more defined, and I don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize any of my licenses, for beer or the sale or production of it with THC, because I know those, like, they kind of don't jive right now. So I think it's like, let's wait and see how everything shakes out. It's kind of where we're at.
I like it. I like that. That's dope. Thank you. So then, boys, I'd love to get the stories. Both of you individually, I'd love to get how you both got into beer, and obviously you both had illustrious careers in the industry. So I'd love to hear about the careers from both of you. Then we can get into the history of the brewery itself.
Yeah.
Whoever wants
Jimmy,
to
I've been yapping over here. Why don't you
talk to us, Jimmy?
All right. So pretty much I started home brewing when I was 18. It was pretty much the
But you didn't
easiest
drink it until
way.
you were 21, though.
Well, it's the easiest way to get alcohol. So,
But you
we
didn't
just
drink until you were 21.
yeah. So, I started at 18 brewing with all my buddies. We were just buy the little homebrew kits at the store and
Nice.
sit in the kitchen and make some beers. And I kind of advanced and really got into the science of the beer, and then went to all grain. Everyone else kind of fell out of it, and I just kept going. And then my wife and I moved up to Vermont,
Hell yeah.
and I got a job, Woodstock.
Oh,
So right outside of Killington.
what's in Woodstock? Is there a brewery there that I know about?
So I worked at Long Trail.
Long Trail. That could be what I'm thinking of. I haven't been, but okay. I just know Vermont towns from breweries.
Yeah, they're one of like they're like one of the OG
Yeah.
like Vermont breweries.
20, 30 years or something.
Yeah.
Okay, sick.
So yeah, they started in '89. So I started there just cleaning kegs and working on this bottling line. Worked my way up. Started working in the cellar, and then we decided to move back to Syracuse about 2 years after moving up to Vermont. And then originally Meier's was Empire. So I actually started in the cellar at Empire and then moved up to head brewer, and then kind of bounced around after there. I was only there for a year, bounced around to different breweries throughout Syracuse, and then Meier's took over, and then I came brewing at Meier's. So now that's where I'm at. Love it here.
Yep.
Hell
Yeah, Jimmy was like he kind of moved up from brewer to lead brewer, and now he's head of production, and
running the show.
he's the guy.
Love it.
So yeah, it's
Good on you.
been just about 13 years in production brewing, and then 18 plus now
Jeez.
home brewing and everything else. But yeah, that's my story.
That's awesome, dude. You're an OG. I love it.
Yeah, brother.
I didn't actually know about the Empire thing, so when we talk about Meyer's in general, I'd love to get that part as well.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Jordan, talk to me, brother.
Oh man, let's see how I started. I don't know. I was going to I was finishing up at University of Buffalo. And I had done like some when I was living in Syracuse, just some like random like promotional stuff through our distributor here, TJ Sheehan.
Okay.
So they're part of a Sheehan family companies, which is like a kind of a large East Coast, distributorship. They've had, 13, 14 different distributors under their umbrella. But, when I was, kind of doing some marketing stuff there, some promotions, in the summertime, I went back and was at school, and they asked me if I wanted to be like a merchandiser for a new craft beer segment that they had. And I'm like, sure. What do I got to do? It's like put beer away on shelves. But I'm in college, I'm drinking like Keystone Light, like whatever is the cheapest thing when I'm, so then I'm like, I'm putting all these beers away. I'm like, what are these things? Like, I have no idea. And it was like, these were brands like, Flying Dog, Dogfish Head, Allagash, Rogue, Stone, Bear Republic, even like, Sierra Nevada. But like even like a lot of import stuff like Saison DuPont and St. Bernardus and different Trappist beers. I'm like, this is like a whole different like world to me. So I started working, and I bring some bottles home, start trying. I'm like, this is really good. Like, so just like really started getting into it. Finished up with school. They offered me a sales rep job. So I started selling craft beer, kind of in the Western New York area in Buffalo, and did that for a while, and then was sales manager for them for Western New York, for TJ Sheehan. And then my buddy Schatzel was opening up a brewery called Thin Man Brewing Company in Buffalo. He asked me to come kind of start the sales department, be director of sales. So I worked for a distributor for 11 years, and then went to Thin Man. So was at Thin Man for about a year when I got a call from Syracuse, where I'm from originally.
Okay.
I have some family connections to the ownership. So they asked me if I wanted to come run the brewery and sales department at Myers Creek, and that was December of 2019, and I've been here since then. So
Awesome.
It's been like a nice 18 years in this industry. It's been great. I've seen it from where, I'm trying to sell people Dogfish had 60-minute, like in 2000, whatever. And they're looking at me like I had three heads when I told them the keg was $165 for a half keg, which is like, now I'm like, that is like crazy. And they're like, well, but like Labatt's like $60. Like, why am I paying? So, but it took a little while, you know what I mean? Like, And then people started, once people start buying and you can show them like, well, listen, you can sell one keg of this and make just as much money as if you sold 3 kegs of that. So, you show them how to make money, and then they're like, oh, wait, yeah, actually, let me push this. I'm charging more. My margins are higher. Everything's great. And then, it kind of went from there. So I kind of have seen this whole, kind of rise of craft beer. It's been pretty cool.
That's awesome. I mean, you guys got both those careers are super interesting. I love it, and getting that history and seeing. I got into it over here. I moved to Canada in 2010, so I kind of missed that. You boys were both sort of around before then. Mm-hmm. So I got to see like the other part of it, but it's cool to hear those stories that they're trying to sell dog. I mean, even in the early 2000s, 2010, 2010s, you'd be probably a little hard pressed as well, even to try and sell IPAs, even though the IPAs sort of, when just American / West Coast IPAs, the bitterness wars type of thing was kind of heating up around the 2012, 2013. So I guess it would have, but it was still hyper niche, all that stuff, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. And like the first brewery that, I got hired kind of full time, and they're like, okay, we're doing we're taking the whole team and going to a brewery, and it was Dogfish Head,
Sick.
Sam Calgione was the guy that gave the tour, and this was when Dogfish Head was not big. Like, it was pretty small. Like, They had just built, they had their brew pub in like Rehoboth Beach, where they were mostly doing distilling.
Right? Okay.
And then they had their, but from what it was when I first went there in, 2000 and this must have been 2009, something like that. Like, it was not the behemoth that it turned into. And it was cool. He's showing how, like, Sam saying how he, kind of came up with like the 60-minute continuously hopped IPA. And he still has, like, we had these little football games, like when we were kids, and like you set up your players and then you turn the thing on and it vibrated and the players kind of went all over the place. Like, do you guys remember those?
Yeah.
We didn't really have American football in Australia, but I think
Yeah. So, but it was basically just like a thing that just vibrated. And like what he did was just drilled a bunch of holes in that machine, put like a hopper on top of it. And then as he was like adding his hops into the boil, instead of just dumping them in, he'd add them continuously throughout the 60-minute boil process. And that's kind of how he did it. and like the hops would kind of go in slowly. You know what I mean? He kind of explained it as like, well, if you're cooking food, you don't just add salt in all at once. He's like, you cook this and you add a little salt, and you cook that and you add a little salt. So you're kind of like, you know, it's his idea of like, you know, kind of layering flavors with his hop additions. So it was pretty cool.
That is great.
It is, and even just as you're saying it, I'm even thinking of you trying to sell that to somebody in 2012, 2008, whatever, who probably don't know what hops are.
No, you're trying to sell a story to these people and trying to get them on, you know. Arrogant Bastard was the easiest thing I had to sell because it just like people were like, oh, it's a cool name. I'll put it on my draft board.
I mean, that makes sense though. But, yeah, what a crazy time, eh? Back then, and I guess all the wild ass shit from Rogue, or their whatever lemon donut beards.
They were doing those voodoo donut things. They did a beer where they like harvested yeast out of like one of their brewers' beards.
The owner's beard. Yeah, I remember I had
I actually didn't try it. I was at their brew pub in San Francisco, and like they had just got like done kicking it. I wanted to give it a try, but yeah, Rogue dead guy, man,
classic. But even now,
one of the coolest tap handles in the game. Like I bring in tap handles. It was like a big, no, it was like a big like skeleton like sitting on like a barrel of beer.
Oh, of course.
And he had like a Rogue hat on.
I think it's stone.
Super cool. Like I just bring in the tap handle sometimes if people are like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like I'll take one of those. All right,
sweet. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys have really both seen a lot of the changes over the years and been able to. I imagine there's a lot of value for a company that has two guys like that in different sections of the company. To bring that sort of like historical knowledge as well. Like, you know, it's good to stay with the times. And I think it's also equally important, just almost with anything. A lot of people these days, the kids don't really appreciate the history type thing, you know? So it's cool that you guys have seen the evolution and been there along the way and both been involved in different ways. That's, it seems to be really valuable. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's been really good.
Been a ride in the industry. I love it. So I want to get into the history of the brewery itself, but I'm thinking, do you want to jump into the next one?
Let's do it.
Love to.
Oktoberfest. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go. This is my, it's a Festbier. Oh, get fuck. Yes. It's the best. This is my favorite time of year for this. I don't think there's really anything better than this stuff right here. So I was very excited when I saw it in the fridge. I was talking to Ben at the brewery. He didn't know what to give me. So he's like, all right, let's just figure it out. And I was like, oh heck yeah, it's fall. We should go Oktoberfest. That was the only one. I was like, anything else? I was like, I need to try that.
Yeah, Ben's the best. He's our resident daytime bartender and musician. So he's got he's in a couple different bands. And he kills it.
Hell yeah. Well, he was awesome. And this is wicked. So I imagine this is probably super fresh. It would have dropped relatively recently. Is that fair?
Probably beginning of August, you know.
Beginning of August?
Unfortunately,
stop it.
There's some large breweries here in the States that kind of set the releases for certain seasonals. I know from working at a distributor that Sam Adams Oktoberfest hits the warehouse floor in July. So they're probably brewing that beer in.
That's so insane.
May.
Yeah, I was going to say
June.
May.
Is it it's a fest beer or is it a Mazen?
It's a fest.
It's a fest.
Beer,
okay.
Yeah.
So they're not brewed as far back as March. It's not like that serious.
Yeah, we let ours go for a while, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, so we brewed ours
6 weeks.
Yeah, definitely 6 weeks.
Okay, 6 weeks is a solid amount of time. The whole March thing just seems almost a historical thing as opposed to a necessity.
Yeah,
it's kind of like fun, but unnecessary. Okay, and why'd you guys choose a fest beer over a Martin, or do you do both? Or Mert? Sorry, I keep saying the English way.
That's actually a good question. You know, this beer has been around since the beginning, right, Jordan?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
no,
so
this was another one from our
the original.
from our boy Guy.
Guy.
You know, he goes to Germany all the time and goes to Oktoberfest, and when he goes, he says he likes to drink fest beer. So we said, all right, let's get a fest beer going. I mean, from a guy that's been brewing beer longer than I've been alive, I'll let him run with it. Like, and I'm not young, so
that is awesome. I guess it has changed because I'm just checking on Untapped now. This can says 5.5. The Untapped thing is 6. So I guess it has sort of been tweaked along the way, just like the Floatin On By has too.
Yeah, I think the first batch was 6, but then it's kind of scaled down a little bit from there.
Gotcha. I love it. I can't wait to sip this, gentlemen. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Love it. Nice toasty amber. Ooh, nose is beautiful. Very like sweet malt.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, man! I love this. It's got to be the best style. I don't even know if there's anything better than fest beer. This is gorgeous.
I agree.
Yeah.
We were doing a little sampling tonight with my buddy from Von Trapp, and we were kind of doing Oktoberfest side by side, and they do kind of a traditional Marzen, and we kind of do like that fest beer style.
Okay.
You know, and it's like we're like, this is like a fest beer is kind of more like you want to drink like during the day, you're outside at a brewery, you know, you're gonna have a few, and like that Marzen style is like, you know, I'm gonna get home, I might be around a fire, you know, I might be sitting outside doing something, you know, kind of like a little crisp air. So I feel like there's, you know, different times and different places for a Marzen and a fest beer.
Couldn't agree.
Totally.
The more the better. This one is amazing. Is there any anything you can tell us, Jimmy, about the brew itself?
So yeah, like Jordan was saying, you know, we've kind of tweaked this recipe each year. I think the recipe that we went with this year is going to stick. So what we're trying right now is kind of going to be the base that runs on continuously.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest thing, I know we're talking about the fest beer, is when we get to the IPAs, that's where I'm going to the IPAs are like, for some reason, like my biggest enjoyment of brewing. Like I love everything about this.
Yep.
You know, so when we get into IPAs, I'm gonna not stop talking. You know, like you and I are gonna have a conversation for about an hour on one can. So
I got the time.
once we get to Peakfinder and, you know, way over Yonder, you and I we're gonna talk all day, because that's like my enjoyment. You know, I kind of leave Guy with the lagers, because he knows a lot more about them, and I'm really trying to pick his brain on everything that he's got going on with the way he does lagers, you know, conditioning lagers, everything about that. But IPAs, hey man, that's my jam right there.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm right there with you as well. It's I get extra excited about these ones this time of year.
Yep.
But yeah.
Oh, totally.
Haze is haze is everything. I'm totally with you. So I'm excited. I actually think we got a really good lineup of the beers tonight, because we get to touch on kind of a bunch of stuff that you guys do.
Yep.
So it kind of worked out perfect. So this has been around since August, due to just the lay of the land within the industry.
Yeah, you kind of got to have your Oktoberfest really out in the market starting in August, unfortunately, because it's
straight
not really when I want to drink a pretty malt heavy beer. You know what I mean? I mean, but, you know, unfortunately, Sam Adams kind of starts getting stuff out there. A lot of like the kind of larger national craft breweries start putting their Oktoberfest out, and they kind of set that mark, or else you're a little bit behind. And, you know, the consumer is kind of fickle when it comes to Oktoberfest, because as soon as November 1st comes,
stouts,
the majority of the people are like, oh, I can't drink an Oktoberfest anymore. It's not October, you know? So
it's like the same thing with pumpkin beer.
Yeah, exactly. So we always try and have them out into the market, like I would really like to have most of my inventory depleted and out in the market kind of starting in the beginning of October, and then really kind of let it kind of dwindle down.
End of the month.
Just because we see such a pretty sharp drop off in sales once November 1st hits. Like I think the beer is perfect. The beer would be perfect through the end of November. I think that's actually the better time to drink it. But it's you get burned by brewing too much once, and you're like, I'm gonna be a little bit more conservative this time and kind of let this one kind of run its course and then move on to, we've always got seasonals coming right up. So, but this is my favorite seasonal that we brew. I mean, I think this one is, right up there with any Oktoberfest that I've had.
Yeah.
So
this is fantastic, man. I love it. I'm really happy to see that you guys are doing that too. Yeah, it's the best. I don't know why people don't. That's a really interesting anecdote that they drop off in November. And I feel like, I guess I'm just, as a consumer, I'm gonna be. I waited until I didn't have my first Oktoberfest till this weekend, actually, at Treehouse in Saratoga.
Good for you.
Okay.
I held off because I'm like, no, I'm wearing shorts right until the end. Like, no, don't take summer away from me. We live in the Northeast, bro. Like, this shit is rough. Like,
I'm right with you.
You guys totally get it. You guys got the same weather as we do. Arguably, I don't know what it's like in Syracuse, but I know Buffalo's like worse than here. Every time I go to Buffalo, I'm here. There's no snow. I go 45 minutes, whatever, to the border, and then boom, snow. I don't even
Syracuse actually normally gets more snow on an annual basis than Buffalo. So Buffalo just gets it all at once. Like Buffalo gets like the big storms. Syracuse is just like a mind-numbing
constant
inch a day for like 3 months, and it just like doesn't stop snowing. Like, because we're still coming off the lake, but it's the lake to the kind of the northwest, Lake Ontario. So it kind of comes down, and like, so we get some big storms here and there, but like, it's more of a constant snow here.
Right. It just doesn't stop.
Yeah. And even like our brewery's like, Cazenovia's like 30 minutes outside of Syracuse, to the southeast.
Okay.
So, and there's always more snow. Like I'll drive in from the city of Syracuse, especially like early on, like, or like late in the fall. I'm driving in and it's green the whole way, and I go up the hill to go to Cazenovia, and then like all the trees are covered in snow. What is going on here?
Just like boom, you hit that whatever latitude, and it's over. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's funny how it all works, all the different. Obviously, I didn't grow up with all of this stuff, so it was fun the first few years, and then you want to end yourself. It's too much. It's like it's even now. And what's funny in Montreal, bro? Montreal's so much worse than all this. I'm talking like 8-10 foot piles everywhere. There's dump trucks every single night, and the whole operation or the city's going to be covered. Then we moved out here. This is so soft. It's amazing. It's so good. Yeah. This year was really, really, really bad. But typically Hamilton is nothing. Like I think even last year, I think I might have worn boots like once or twice. Otherwise, it's just sneakers. And then except if it's a Buffalo day. It's a Buffalo day. I'm like, can't risk it. Go to ring because there's always too much. It's It is definitely funny how it all works. Why are we talking about that? Why are we talking about weather?
Hazy, I have no idea.
Drinking beers, drinking Oktoberfest. Dude, you're right. This is so perfect. I don't want to stop drinking these. I want to try as many of different ones as I possibly can. I normally don't do this, but Untapped they were just selling like a 12-pack of Oktoberfest from all over the States. And I was like,
that's pretty cool.
I got a New York an address in Lewiston up near Brewed and Bottled on the same street. So I was like, fuck it. Grab that on the weekends. I'm stoked to just, this is awesome to keep this going. So I got like, now I'm pretty stuck for a bit. Probably won't last me that long, but I feel like I just don't foresee stopping. I'll stop drinking fest beers when fest beers stop being available, probably. Yeah. And I think it was just a fascinating anecdote that people do stop doing it. That means people are crazy. They need to get into it. We're here to promote it. Goddammit.
I agree. They want to go right from their Oktoberfest right into pumpkin beers.
Look, and that's okay. But why do you have to
I'm
stop?
okay with that.
They're different purposes.
Yeah.
I can drink a pumpkin beer right after this, and we're good.
Yeah.
It's there's no need. There's no need to stop. But this is awesome. So if people want the Myers Creek one, does this one go in distro at all? Can people find it, or they got to
Yep.
come to the brewery?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one goes
Yep.
distro. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you did say,
Yeah.
into the market. Okay.
Yeah.
So then people can
I
get
think
it.
we only got like 40 cases left at the
wow.
brewery, so
Okay.
we've done our job by getting it out. It's been good.
Okay. So
no, it's actually been like this year, like our sales for Oktoberfest have been awesome.
okay. Good. I love hearing it. So this pod is coming out next week. So
Okay.
by the time people hear it, this is recorded very soon before then. So I would say hurry your ass up and get down to Myers Creek, either
Absolutely.
location. Check out
Do
the
it.
distro. Ask for it. I love it. This is fantastic. So speaking of all of that, let's get the history on the brewery itself. So it sounds like, yeah, talk us through from the beginning, I guess. So it opened up as, it was called Empire Brewing?
Yeah, so in 2016, Empire was like a local Syracuse brand. They had a spot downtown, and then they had opened up some other spots like Buffalo, Rochester, kind of shrunk down, but they scraped together a good amount of funding to build this big farm brewery out in Cazenovia. And so they did that. Used a lot of like local companies, local Syracuse companies. So there's a company, Feldmeyer Equipment, which is out of Syracuse, but they've got kind of plants all over, and they make basically industrial stainless steel tanks. So they've made a ton of fermenters and bright tanks for Treehouse, from places like Treehouse all the way to like Miller Coors. While like brewing vessels aren't really their kind of thing, they're more in like the agriculture, dairy storage, pharmaceutical tanks, stuff like that. So, but they made all, so they made all the equipment for Empire Brewing Company. So, things happen. Empire was open for a while. They had to end up like, going out of business for whatever reason. Certain companies were owed some money. So the kind of bank made an offer to some of the companies that were owed a good chunk of change, and the Feldmeyer Equipment's like a family company, so they always wanted to try and do the restaurant brewery thing. So they ended up buying it from the bank. So they ended up buying their tanks back. So their whole brew house, all their fermenters, all their brights, stuff like that. So they kind of wanted to kind of keep it in their family. So they ended up buying it out of, buying it from the bank in the end of 2019. So they brought the whole property out in Cazenovia, kind of kept everybody on through the holidays. And then, after the beginning of the year, 2020, kind of shut down to kind of start to rebrand this thing as, Myers Creek Brewing Company. So that took a while. So, then we got everything in. I came in from Buffalo. We had another brewmaster, Ivan, at the time. He came up from New York City, started putting our pilot system in, because it's pretty much like it's a 60 barrel brew house, 60, 120 and 240 fermenters and brights, like pretty big. I'm like, you guys can't, I'm like, we cannot start a brewery on that behemoth. So but it's a good thing the company makes, our ownership company makes tanks, the Feldmeyer family. So they made us a nice 6-barrel pilot system with some 6 and 12 barrel fermenters and bright tanks. And that's kind of where we got started. And then COVID hit in April of 2020.
It was mid-March.
So that made things like a bit interesting. Is kind of, that's when we were kind of like planning on opening. So, we started brewing beer and selling them in the parking lot, selling cases in the parking lot to go, 4-packs, people would kind of come in, drive around. Okay, yep, this is my name. This is my online pre-order. Throw it in the back of their trunk, and then they would kind of go on their way. So that's kind of how we started. And then, kind of we opened up the tap room in August. August of 2020. Still like, all right, we've got dividers at the bar and you've got to order a bag of chips in order to get a beer, whatever crazy new COVID protocol they had that week. I brought them in a red zone or a yellow zone, and a yellow zone has to, whatever. It was, just kept telling people it's going to get easier from here. This is going to be the hardest part. So, so starting there makes things a lot easier kind of moving forward.
Right. You went through the hardest stuff.
Yeah. That was an interesting time to open up a brewery and full on restaurant event space. It was
a destination where there's like no Wi-Fi or anything like that.
Yeah.
You have to come out there.
Yeah. It was good because we do have a ton of outdoor space.
So you just spread the tables out.
People were able to kind of spread out. It's not like, you're just in like this little brewery. So you couldn't, have your 6 feet, whatever bubble. But yeah, no, it was interesting, but there's always good things and bad things to look at about it, we've had a pretty decent core team, since we started, kind of had that for a bit. So it was, like I said, some good things, some bad things, but we survived it. So that's really all that matters. And then in January 2021, we opened up our satellite tap room in the city of Syracuse, kind of like our tasting room, and the one that you were at, Craig.
Yes.
So
is that area called Inner Harbor? Is that why that location is called that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Inner Harbor area. So,
Love it.
And then now we've got another tap room that will hopefully open up like kind of spring of 2026 up in Lake Placid, New York. So kind of, yeah. So right in the heart of the Adirondacks.
Hell yeah, dude.
Super nice little town village. The site, I think they had 2 Winter Olympics there in Lake Placid.
Maybe that's what I know. Oh, okay.
Where they had that's where they had the Miracle on Ice.
What was that?
Where it was like in I think like 1984 or 1986 or something. Like the U.S. hockey team was like a bunch of college kids, and they beat like the Russian team who had not lost an Olympic game in like 40 years. So they ended up winning a gold. It was like called the Miracle on Ice.
And aren't they talking about bringing that back, the Olympics, or their bringing the Olympics back?
Yeah, they were thinking about doing like a section of the Olympic Games there, but I think they didn't end up doing it. But It's still cool to go see that like big where they
ski jump,
the ski jump where it's like they go down the huge ramp and like launch themselves off. Have you ever seen that?
That thing's dope.
I haven't seen any of this stuff. I guess I missed all of this. I get every country is so like I could tell you probably about like Australian swimmers in the 80s and 90s or something, but those everything has specific. Okay, but that's sick. That's got some history. I absolutely know Lake Placid. Was there a movie or something with that name? Was there? I just feel like I know it, and I've never been. I'm looking where it is. It's actually really close to Floatin, Vermont. Like across the lake, across Champlain. I just feel like
was there a horror movie called Lake? Was it about like
dude, I really think
in the
so.
Water or something like that.
Here we go. Four people attempt to stop a gigantic crocodile who's terrorizing residents in Black Lake, Maine, even though Lake Placid is in a different area. So yes, and this was in 1999. So that's why. I don't think I've seen this movie, but I absolutely know the name of it. It looks budget. Yeah. Well, actually, no. Is it budget? It's hard to tell because it's old. But Bridget Fonda, Bill Pullman, so they're all like names.
Oh, Pullman.
He goes hard. That's hilarious. So Lake Placid. Okay, sick. Is there an approximate, at least an estimate opening for that one?
Yeah, we're kind of shooting for like probably late spring. March, April, May, but you never know how the winter is and trying to get construction done. We haven't really like got anything like started on it yet, but basically just we have a building right on Main Street. Great location.
Hell yeah.
Right there, you can see the lake kind of right off the front balcony, and probably start construction, just doing some demo work and getting some old stuff out of there fairly soon. Okay. So, but you never know how the winter is up there, because however, those are like more like that Montreal style winter that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. It's from Ottawa down to Vermont. It's the same. It's just nightmare town, minus 40 Celsius. It's snow up the ass. I can only imagine that's going to be a challenge, if nothing else. But that is super fun. What was I going to say about that? Why did you guys choose that location for
they have one of our owners, like he was kind of the president of Feldmeyer Equipment, who's kind of like our ownership group. He retired and he lives in Lake Placid now, for most of the year. So he's like, this kind of space came up and it's pretty nice. So I think he missed like kind of going to the tap rooms and stuff. So he's like, well, it's easier than driving 4 hours to get to Syracuse.
I don't blame the guy.
Might be nice just to open one up right here.
Are they going to brew up there, or is it going to be just bringing up beer from down here?
We're probably just going to bring up beer. Okay. Just because we have our breweries, we're lucky to have a big brewery where we can make it all there. So it's kind of just easier to keep everything, a little streamlined and, consistent, all coming out of one spot.
That's really smart. I forgot, because what'd you say? One of them was 240 tank?
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. I mean, that'll cover you. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, and then you can really focus on it being like hospitality venue, event space. Yep. Just particularly in the summer, I'm sure if you got a balcony there that looks over the lake, I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, 100%. And where like the area so it was an old brewery that actually closed up. So Great Adirondack Brewing Company, and they had a small brewery in the back of it, which we will turn into like an event space, is where like the old brewing space will be, but still kind of give ties to that, that area, just, knowing that it used to be a brewery. So there'll still be some stuff in there that'll remind you. So it'll be good.
That's awesome. Love it. Adirondacks are beautiful too. So it's, that's fun, man. That's really cool. You guys got that coming up. I love it. So the company itself. So when, I guess forget about the Empire side, but from the Myers Creek side, when everything was started there, do either of you guys know sort of like what the intention was, as far as like, all right, we're starting essentially taking over these spaces, or this space, and what was sort of the intention as far as the styles and sort of maybe the approach to beer? Was there anything specific? Because it seems like, from what I could tell looking at the fridge the other day, it was pretty eclectic. Like, I feel like you guys did like a bit of everything, and from what I can tell you're doing, at least we're going to get into more stuff. The Crispy's the killer. I'm excited for the haze because Jimmy's excited, so I'm like, all right, let's go. What like, was there like when it was started, was like, all right, we're going to do XXX, so like, was there anything specific?
There really wasn't. I think what we really wanted to do was not to kind of say, okay, we're going to do all IPAs, or we're going to make smoothie sours, or we're going to do just lagers. Like, we really wanted to kind of brew a broad range of different styles, from as experimental as possible to as traditional as possible, and it's I feel like it's the best way to say, all right, well, what are people digging? What are people liking? What aren't they liking? So you kind of get, using things like Untapped and, just customer reviews and stuff like that. It was never a thing like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much I love one style of beer or Jimmy loves one style of beer.
Right.
We're not the ones that are drinking and paying for it. So it's like, we always want to make sure that we've got the customers in mind as well, and what they want, and listen to their feedback. And then try and, not really change what we're going to do, but tweak and, kind of refine things so that, we're going to have, a lot of beers for everyone's taste, that because there's always, you always get a group of people comes in. Oh, I love, I'm a haze boy. I love that. I like crispy beers. I like dark beers. I like Belgians. I like, I like sours. So it's nice that we have like a pretty good variety of beers on draft and in package, like at all times. And having two different brew systems allows us to be a little bit more nimble when it comes to that. If you got like someone like Sierra Nevada can't just like turn their ship as quick as we can. We're able to say, oh, people are liking porters right now. We can have a porter out the door in a month, say, someone like Sam Adams or Sierra Nevada, like if they want to put a new porter into their portfolio, that's like a year, maybe two, just to get that, kind of going in. So figure if we're able to do it, let's do it.
Okay. Do you guys have I know you got the smaller 6-barrel system. Do you is that the pilot system as such compared to the 60? Like you could just walk around and just be like, you know what? Got some ideas. Jimmy and Guy and the team are just like, you know what? Maybe we could mess around and try this. Is that
exactly?
Yeah. Okay. So 6 barrels for some breweries is their main thing, but for you guys, it's kind of the play.
Yeah. Yeah, and it feeds our tap room because usually we do mostly like drafts off of that system, especially on like in the 6-barrel fermenter. So it allows us to, make a beer and just keg it, and it kind of feeds both of our tap rooms, just to make sure we got like a nice variety of different stuff on draft. So
I like that. So there's always something fresh that's just off that system that people can't take home to go. It's just consumed. We've got crowler machines at both places. So if you want to do like a crowler or something, like, you can always grab one of those. But, that's kind of where a lot of our beers kind of like started, is just like draft only, ideas, playing around.
Yep.
That was kind of my next question. How many beers can you guys think of that have maybe started as, messing around on the small system and then brought that to the big one? Or even if it's not the number of them, any notable ones that come to mind?
A few dozen, right? There's got to be a few dozen.
Oh shit! All right.
I mean, Berryman is probably like the one that really kind of started as like, shit, man, people fucking want like these like big in your face fruited sours, and we're like, all right, shit, we'll throw every berry that we can possibly find in puree form into this beer and say, all right, here you guys go. You wanted it, you got it. And then people just started, crushing them. And I'm looking at the cost of goods on them. I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to sell this for a little bit more.
People are used to it. You can put that up.
Yeah. But on draft, it's like, it
flies.
Just flies.
Yeah.
And it was called Barry Manilow, but we can't. We're going to bleep that or get another letter.
Is he still alive?
I believe so.
Yeah, he was really big in Australia, funny enough. So I know exactly.
Was he really?
Yeah, he's like, born, nope, not dead. 82 years old.
Still going. Actually, he played a show out at a casino out here, that Turning Stone Casino, like a year or two ago.
Okay. So he's still around. His lawyers are very active, clearly.
Oh, they are.
Yes. Yeah. My distributor out that way was like, yeah, well, shoot, we're going to get it into the Turning Stone. I go, don't do that.
Don't do it. Not anymore.
Try to fly under the radar with this one. I'm surprised we haven't gotten one yet.
Okay, so there's like that's a great, because we're going to get to that one tonight as well. So okay, that's really sick that you guys do that. And then the other thing I was thinking before was, when you opened, though, just to sort of maybe paint the picture of the maybe the journey that the brewery itself has been on. What do either of you guys remember what you opened with. So in I think you said early 2020, just after COVID, it was you opened for the takeout, and in August was the tap room. Do you guys remember what was around back then?
Golden Boy.
Like the first beer we brewed was just like a blonde ale.
Okay. Good name. Golden
because
Boy,
we weren't sure how it was going to come out on that system, and the first batch did not come out. I mean, it tasted fine, but it was like 7.5% blonde ale, which you can't really have. So
you can't really fix that, eh?
That kind of, we dialed in the canning line on that run, and then pretty much gave it to the construction workers, and they loved it. But because we were still kind of getting construction going on the tap room, so
right.
But it was just like a nice 5% golden ale. That was the first, kind of just like beer that we ever brewed, and then Lucid Fog, which is like we release that like annually. That was like the first IPA that we brewed. I think it's Citra. It's like pretty standard Citra Galaxy Mosaic, or
I got
I think you're right.
Like Citra Galaxy Eldorado is
6.5%. Yep.
Okay.
So that was the first IPA, and then we did a sour. I think it was a lemon blackberry sour. Operational Challenges. I think was the but we had a ton of different stuff. Like we had chalky milk, which is like
that's such an Aussie thing as well. Do you guys say that?
What?
Chocolate milk, you call it chalky milk?
No. I think it was from Star Wars. There was like a Star Wars kind of like meme or something that was going around. It was like chalky milk and chicky nuggies or something like that. So
it's Yoda on the can. I see.
Yes, it was like Baby Yoda.
Like, that's what we called it in Australia. That was like the way people. So that's what
really?
I was going to ask you guys about this one. Okay, it looks like
that label's going to have to change after this fucking episode.
That was the first one. Like
watching,
we literally brewed that. I go, well, we'll never be able to brew this again. Disney's going to give us a cease and desist for this one, but we'll see.
I think Disney's going through it right now, so maybe they're a bit distracted. Thankfully.
Yeah.
So it's a chocolate bourbon vanilla porter.
Yep. So it was like, bourbon? So actually, it was. Barrel? So it's like there's cocoa nibs, and it was vanilla or bourbon soaked vanilla beans.
Oh, hell
that we used in it. So that was kind of like the bourbon element. It wasn't aged in bourbon or aged on bourbon barrels or anything, but so it was like this bourbon soaked vanilla beans that we were using.
And then we recirced that fermenter for about 12 hours. So we'll just let that tank go from the bottom to the top of the racking arm and just let that whole tank just recirc.
Hell yeah. So it's just really like every inch of the beer gets soaked on the beans.
Yep.
That's super fun. Yeah. Okay. So like these ones are still around, or any of those beers are, I guess some of them are at least.
Chalky milk will be coming out.
We're brewing that next month.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So people can get
so that's
that.
like
maybe the labels.
Yeah, that's kind of like our we kind of have like two winter seasonals, dark lager and
hell yeah.
So it'll be like chalky milk will come out in like November, and then that'll kind of run through the holidays, and then we'll have like all 100% New York State ingredient dark lager, which will kind of take us like into the spring. So
gotcha.
Kind of have like two seasonals, because chalky milk just sold so well that we're like, I guess we gotta make more of this. So
keep doing
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, man. And I like hearing that a porter is popular.
Right.
Yeah,
it's such an underrated style. I fucking love porters, and I'm really happy to hear that the way that you guys.
Yeah.
That sounds like a phenomenal beer with that very unique, the vanilla beans in bourbon. Yeah, that's so fun. Good shit, man. That's so cool.
Well, you've got like kind of the base there. You got dark isle, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so that's like similar. Like that's one of my favorite beers. That's like one of my favorite beers that we brew. I think like
fantastic.
True to style, like stylistically, that's a pretty spot on porter. A little on the roastier side, but still super good.
Roasty is not a bad thing.
Not at all.
That's awesome. Anything else from that era that sort of made it through that you guys can think of?
Velvet Fog kind of came like beyond there. But that was like our real like experimental, like, all right, you know, owners wanted 16 beers on draft when we opened up. So
16?
we had
I thought
16
you'd be like,
different
we had 4.
beers. We had 16 different beers on draft when we opened up. It was a lot of
That's
hard
pressure.
work, like right away, just kind of literally just like churning out small batches of beer.
Right.
But we did like a coffee goza too, which was like oddly weird, but kind of good.
What? Yeah.
Like it was like a very like kind of like super citrusy kind of like berry forward. I think it was like in some type of like Ethiopian kind of coffee that we were using, but like
Hell yeah.
wasn't super like, you know, that like real intense like roasty coffee. It was kind of that more like kind of
The
floral,
bright. Yep.
citrusy, kind of bright, and like working
Single
with
origin.
like that. Yeah. And working against the coriander sea salt was like kind of
It was tough.
it worked. It was interestingly good. I don't know if I necessarily drink a bunch of them, but it was good for one.
You know
Yeah.
what? Sometimes those beers, that's completely fine. You don't always have to have a 6-pack of everything.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's fun. That's sick. And over time, would you like? How much has things changed as far as the approach to your beers from 2019 through now? Well, I guess it's more 2020. Has things evolved a lot? Obviously, there's going to certain things like Floatin On By, like a Velvet Fog that we're going to have, I believe, next. But like turned into essentially your flagships, or at the very least the beer that are the most popular. Has anything else sort of changed, or has it kind of just been like a natural evolution where you're just throwing shit at the wall, seeing what people are into, being like, oh, digging this, you know?
Yeah, definitely. When we started, it was like, let's just throw shit at the wall and see what people like. You know, like, but now we've kind of got like, you know, 5 years of data, and we're kind of we've kind of figured out what people like and stylistically what people like from us. And now we've kind of focused, you know, we don't do, you know, 100 different beers a year, you know. Now we've kind of like developed, you know, and kind of Jimmy was like a really good help in getting that going and saying, all right, we don't need to rotate 14 of 16 lines all year round. Like, you know, and it's kind of like, all right, let's get our house porter.
Yep.
Let's get, you know, kind of our, you know, let's get our staples, you know.
Let's dial some shit in, you know,
Yep.
literally. Like, let's get our beers more dialed in, and let's get to know them a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
Like, things
I like
that
that.
have been selling, and let's really, from all aspects of the beer, like from hot side brewing to fermentation to in the glass, let's get to know that beer, you know? And let's really try to dial that beer in. Because before, you know, when I first started, you know, we were kind of rotating our beers a little too much, where we really didn't get to know the beers. You know, we really didn't get to know them in any aspect. So now we're kind of really getting to know how they're finishing out, how they're starting, and where we can go with them and make those minor adjustments going forward.
Honestly, dude, I love that. That's such a cool thing. Like, get to know the beer.
Yeah.
That could even be the
Yeah.
podcast name, the episode name.
Yeah.
I love that concept because there's something really cool about doing a one-off that's like, hey, we got this idea, let's try it, and then you know, people like it, cool. But there's a whole other thing, and this comes back to kind of what we were talking about earlier, as far as I don't know if we were talking about this off air or on air, probably on air, about like people wanting more lower. When we talk about the seltzers and the crispies and stuff, like going back to that, wanting that maybe more low ABV, or at least wanting something more consistent. And I'm noticing that across the boards, even with my friends who are all, you know, we're all beer nerds, are all like wanting to try different stuff. But then I don't know, can I just get a 6-pack of Bell's Two Hearted or something? I don't want to think about it, because I know that it's gonna slap every time. I don't have to worry about it, and I know that the brewers have dialed it in, and I feel like there's something to be said about. I think now with, you know, economy's in an interesting space. Not everyone has the money to roll the dice every time, and like sometimes you want a bit of certainty. just like the old folks, you know, who were drinking Miller High Life or whatever.
Yeah.
They know that what they're going to get, and then there's something to do that. And I guess as for you guys as a company and you, Jimmy, as a brewer, like, I guess that's super dope because you can just know, like, we were talking before about the tweaks, the Floatin On By, like, you've made it into this sort of product that's like, you know, it's a series of minor tweaks, but now it's something you're super extra proud of because you've really worked through it. You've really got, you know, ironed out all the creases. And I feel like that's really cool.
Well, it's like what you just said, like with rolling the dice. Like, you don't want to go into a craft beer store or any beer store and be like, well, I'm going to try this new IPA or that, you know, because you don't know what you're going to get, you know. And that's kind of where our brand and what I'm looking for is, you know, what you're going to get every single time, and it's never going to change, you know, at least with our flagships, you know, anything that's sticking, it's going to stay, and it's going to be exactly what you expect every time you get it.
I love that so much. It's beautiful. How many beers do you guys have like that, would you say?
We got
like flagship beers?
Either flagship or beers that are almost either always on or almost always on.
We got like 6.
Velvet, Dark Isle, Berry, Way Over Yonder. Pretty much 6, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I think I have every one of those, which is great. I was actually really happy when I was talking to Ben. I was like, he's like, what do you need? I'm like, well, let's do it. Like, it's always good on the pod to do a bit of a mix of one-offs and flagships, because this is the first time you're on here, and if we're going to be talking about the brand, it'd be cool to do a mix of those things. And I think that's awesome. That's pretty good. And those, say, 5 to 6 beers, are they always in distro as well? So they're not just at the brewery. Those are the ones, if you're going to go to a supermarket, liquor store, going to be kicking
you're probably going to see, you know, probably 3 or 4 of those kind of all the time in distro.
Okay.
And then, you know, we've always got our, you know, we kind of always roll with really 3 plus a seasonal. And then we also always have in distro a rotating lager, a rotating hazy, and a rotating sour, you know, kind of also in that mix. And then like 1 or 2 other, like, just different one-offs, you know.
Gotcha.
So
there's a bit of a mix of certainties, ones that are, you know, sure things that are around all the time, and there's some fun new stuff. And it even sounds like the fun new stuff, like you guys are doing the chalky milk again. So it's not the first time you're doing it, but it's the fun shit that gets put out there. But you've done it a few times, so it's arguably more dialed in than just like the Oktoberfest as well, like than a one-off. Not there's anything. I definitely don't want to shit on one-offs. I love one-offs. I think they're I'm sort of harping on it a bit because I feel like flagships don't always get their due. Like, I feel like they're a little, I don't know, they're not as exciting on paper and sexy as like hey man, we just fucking got these sick hops, let's do this sick hazy. That's what, because that's the, I'm not gonna lie, that's the hazy I'm gonna go for. But to get to know a brewery, I think it's important to try the flagships for the reason that you said, Jimmy. You've tweaked it, you've dialed it in, you got to know the beer well, and you're like, all right, this is what we like as a team, this is what our consumers really like, and we've really got this to a place. I think that's really important. And then also, once you get to, like, if I lived in, you know, this was available regularly to me, then it would be like, well, you know what, Floatin, I want that in my fridge all the time, so I'll just always get 4 packs of that whenever I'm out. I always grab that in, so it's always around. I don't have to think about it. I just grab it, and she's good to go. I'm like, I don't know, I kind of love that. It's an interesting, I don't know, I imagine you guys are kind of like me, beer nerds, always want to try new shit, and it's almost like trippy to me sometimes, where I'm just like, oh, I just couldn't be fucking bothered, man. Just let me get that. I just want, you know what I mean? I just want, I don't have to take all these pitches and do my stupid reviews because I got like OCD with that. I want to make sure I'm always talking about it. I'm just like, sometimes it's nice to just drink it. I have to
and I'm right back, like you were talking about. Like, I've, you know, myself, like, you know, sometimes it's like there's so many options that I don't even know. I'm like, I want that. I want one of these, and then I'm like, like you said, a Bell's Two Hearted, and I know it's going to be fucking awesome. And, you know, it's just like, I know what I'm getting. And I've kind of like started, and I've kind of seen like, you know, I've seen like kind of the market go back to that too, where the Sierra Nevadas of the world and, you know, Bell's and New Belgium, stuff like that. You know, people are starting to go back to more, you know, beers that they know and maybe they forgot about a little bit, because there is such like, you know, like it's almost like a, you know, like option fatigue. You're like, I got so many options, I don't know what to do. Let me just get something that I know.
Couldn't agree more. And it's even harder when you travel. So I just went to Albany on the weekend. We specifically went to Treehouse and Fidens was what was obviously the purpose of the trip. So I only really bought beers from there. But if I went to a store, like it's not even, I guess there is decision fatigue, but it's almost like it's easier to have a plan. Going in, like, I'm looking for these things,
right?
Because you could go in there, I'll be in there for 45 minutes, like, seeing a beer, like checking it on tap, not because I'm a dick and want to make sure it's like some sort of high rated beer, but just want to see more information, what it looks like, checking the dates on the bottom, if it's haze, making sure it's fresh, because that's always a challenge in distro. And it's sort of this, like, that's what I do in Brewed and Bottled when I'm doing my little trips over there. Or there's another place called, which you would know probably, John, the Premier Gourmet by Trader Joe's out there.
Yeah,
so I'd always go
we got a sampling there on Saturday.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love that place. I'm dropping these names because it's cool, because you actually know them all, because you're out there, and that's sick that you guys are there. But they always have Maine beer co all the time. So the only thing I don't like about it, well, it's fine, I guess, but it's like those outside shelves. They got a cooler fridge, but they never keep there. So I just go in there, just grab two of them, just whatever they have, I just grab two of everything, and it's all separated by state, which I really appreciate there. But I'm never going to buy a hazy IPA off that warm shelf. I'm going to go in the fridge. Because I've seen some stuff, I don't want to say, because there's a brewery I know in North Carolina that is phenomenal, and I've seen some stuff that was hazy IPAs that were a year old. I'm like, I know that they would not be happy seeing that, because people probably see it and be like, oh, I want to get it. I'm like, it's warm, and then keep going. So there's always a bit of a challenge, but there's like I found that I'm going, even if I've had the main, I don't care. I've had all the stuff that's in distro, basically had it all. I'm just grabbing it. I don't care. I just want it in the fridge. And it's extra privilege in Canada having this type of stuff as well. But it's interesting just looking at the way people are buying beer and their sort of thinking behind it, and even the way that beer nerds like the three of us, the way that even our consumption habits are kind of changing. You want to mix now, as opposed to everything has to be new. If it's not new, if I've had it before, I don't want that shit. Like now it's like, let me get some Green State Lager, some fucking some whatever, Two Hearted, and then or Sip of Sunshine or something like that, and then let me get all the new Myers Creek one-offs that they got right now. Like, it's it's a kind of it's good, and it's cool that you guys are cognizant of that. Once again, that comes back to what we were saying earlier of you two being in the industry for so long, that you have been through that as drinkers. You've been through it as selling it. You've been through it brewing it, so you guys know how that goes, and you're able to probably adapt a little easier because you can understand the minds of the consumer, because you were, and you went through that all those different waves, and it's sick. I love it. Excuse me. I know we normally try to do the beers every 30 minutes, but we've been talking. I didn't want to interrupt this point. It was this was a good one. How do you guys feel about the next one?
All right, so dude, we're going into the hazies. So
let's get Jimmy a hazy.
Ready.
All right, let's do Peakfinder.
Peakfinder.
Yep.
You guys do it. I don't have a Peakfinder, but I'm gonna have you guys do it.
All right.
Okay. I have Peakfinder right here.
All right.
Damn it.
All right. And then we're gonna do Way Over Yonder, and then we're gonna go into Velvet.
Okay. I'm not afraid.
All right.
Well, you can make the call as to when we move to the next ones if you like as well.
Let's do that, man.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Peakfinder right here. This glorious. Look at this mountainous. Ben was telling me that all the beers are named after mountain-based.
So
things.
that's something I've I've been kind of working with. It's called the Summit Series. We're going to do 46 different beers, all single hopped, same base. Each beer is going to go off of all the high peaks.
Oh my God, look at how thick this shit is. Let's go.
We like it.
Yeah,
Dog.
that's Jimmy's baby right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I had no idea. Oh, get fucked, Jimothy. Can I call you Jimothy?
Yeah, do it.
I kind of like it. I know we only just met like an hour or so
Yeah.
ago, but I kind of feel
Bring
confident.
it. So now we're
There's nothing better. This is like milky haze. This
Yeah,
is
that's-
glorious. This is what I'm talking about, dog. Let's go.
yeah.
Okay, now this is like I don't know, is there a day code on this?
So this was packaged last week.
Last week, I assumed it looked super fresh.
Yeah, we had a little fit with our date coder right now,
Yeah.
so we've been doing pack tech, stamping the top of the pack text, but
Hey, that's a good way around it. I appreciate that level. I've never heard anyone say that because it's a bit of a, I don't know if I want to say pet peeve, but just
Mhm.
I just want to know what if I'm buying in distro. If I'm buying from the brewery, it's almost always like no problem.
Right.
But if I'm buying it out, I just want to make sure because I don't know how long I'm going to have to sit on it till I crush it. If I'm going on a trip and I'm bringing back
Same way.
yeah.
2 cases, you guys same thing. You might go out to Vermont for the weekend. You're like, I don't want to bring any 4-week-old beer back because I might not get to it for 2 weeks. Type
Right.
shit.
Right.
It's not even being a dick about it, although I am a princess with date codes. Do you guys do you guys have a preference for age of beer?
Especially with our IPAs, Jimmy, you can let them know. We kind of always just, as long as it's just still not super green, is really, which
If it's green, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. Okay, that's like the peak thing.
If we got green beer, we're gonna go 2
But
weeks.
a lot of times
hold it.
Yeah, a lot of times we'll leave it in tank for 2 weeks. So, it's not like we're gonna let it clear that green stage in a can. It's rather just let it do its thing in tank under pressure and not have to worry about any oxygen ingress. So,
and there's been a lot of new things that we're doing with the way we dry hop, the way we do things with our hazies, with colder, not cold, but a lighter crash before we dry hop. So we'll do a diacetyl rest. We'll make sure the diacetyl is gone off the beer, and then we'll bring the temperature down and then dry hop.
Gotcha. Which does that deliver the greenness? Is that what that is?
It's actually not delivering any of the greenness on our part that we've kind of gone for right now.
Because I find that the greenness, whatever it is that causes it, elongates the lifespan of the beer. As far as like, if I know the beer is green, I kind of like a bit of hot burn personally, just the right amount. I want it to be over the top. But I know if I taste it, I'm like, oh, I can sit on this for another month to 6 weeks, and it's going to be just fine. Because I'm always just like you guys. I imagine you're both like, I was about to say paranoid. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm always thinking about like, oh fuck, man, I got these in the fridge. This has got to go. This one's at like 4 weeks right now. These other ones at 5. I don't know if it's good anymore. Like I'm always like trying to balance the consumption level of IPAs with how I'm going to be drinking them, so that nothing is too old and they're all at peak. So particularly if there's certain breweries, how long they last. But if it's a new beer, it's an unknown factor. You don't know how long.
Well, you got a little burn to it. You're like, oh, I got another 2 weeks.
Particularly if it's 4 packs. Which you guys are not. Which I really appreciated. At least in a harbor, like you could go singles and just they had the pack text there. You pile them in. Personally, as a business owner, I'm not against 4 packs. As a consumer, I don't want that shit at all. I just want 1, maybe 2. Of anything. The force 4-pack's quite annoying to me, but and that is a great way to do it, because if you get them in super fresh like this, then you're like, oh sweet. If this is like so, this was packaged last week, so this is probably about a week old.
Correct. Yeah.
I gotta sip this, gentlemen. Cheers. And then
cheers, brother.
Once we finish talking about this,
guys.
We'll talk about the. Oh, you're still going with that one? Are you gonna wait for us to do Velvet Fog?
I don't have. Yeah, I have Velvet Fog. I don't have Peakfinder on me.
If you wanted to crush Velvet Fog in the meantime, you're welcome to. So don't think
crush
it.
Perfect.
So we're going to talk
Cheers.
about your cheers, legend. This is fantastic, by the way. So
Thank you.
Peakfinder has it's 7.25% with Pacific Sunrise, Eldorado, and Citra.
Correct.
Yeah, this is bonkers good. This is fantastic. It's got like a touch of greenness, but I think this is
Yep.
probably. Would you guys say this is like in the acceptable zone that it's not too green? Because I don't think
Right.
this is. As a drinker, I don't think this is too green at all. But this gives
No.
me
No.
if I had 4 of these, I'd be like, I'm gonna be good for another month.
You're right.
Yeah, no,
And it's like
absolutely.
you were just saying, like, this is going to give you another 2 weeks on. And it's kind of cool to see a beer like this age, next week try it, the following week try it again,
Exactly.
and see how
Yeah.
it ages as the hops start to
Mhm.
fall into the beer.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Pacific Sunrise isn't a hop I've seen much. What's the deal with that bad boy?
So that's a New Zealand hop that we
Oh, I see. That's where I know
Yes.
it. Like I know it.
Mhm.
I was like I haven't seen it in beers, but when we had our 10th anniversary early this year, we did 40 collabs. So a lot of them they're like, "Hey, what hops? Whatever beers, what hops you want to use?" And they always looking at the Freestyle Hops website or something like that. So
Yep.
that's where I've seen it. But I feel like in the real world, I haven't seen it a lot.
No, yeah, you're
Okay,
right. I haven't seen Pacific Sunrise in much of any of the beers, but we enjoy it. It brings out a good character to this beer.
This is fantastic, dude. This is like straight dank citrus, like mango, like pineapple. It's like I think it's almost like the greenness makes you sort of a little maybe confused if there's like pithy grapefruit or if it's that sort of greenness.
But I
The
also like
body
the
is insane.
bite to
Yes.
IPAs. You need to have a little bit of bitterness to it.
Yeah.
It kind of rounds out the whole beer
Agreed.
in itself. If it's just a
Mhm.
flat beer with dry hop to it, it's really just a basic beer to me.
Yeah.
Once you get some bitterness to it, it rounds everything out.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say, like, the one thing that Jimmy's done like such a good job at with our hazies is like really kind of tweaking them and like developing that like super kind of soft mouthfeel, like that
Yes.
kind of pillowy, super aromatic, and like he's done such a good job at like really, head retention and all the kind of small things. Like the flavors were always, the hop flavors were always there, but kind of what Jimmy really did is take those other like little subtle nuances like mouthfeel and head retention and aroma and just like really amplified them and just made them so much better. So
I feel exactly what you just described. Exactly. This is insane to me. This is so good, man. Like,
Thank you, man.
I'm so impressed. I was actually happy to have no expectations coming in. I was just like, I liked what I saw online. I was like, oh, this looks like cool branding. Places look awesome. All the beers look and sound fantastic, but I hadn't tried anything. Did not expect this. This is
Appreciate it, brother.
This is how hazes should be. This is how hazy IPAs need to be. That. Like, it's cool if it's not. Like, if it's like the thinner ones that they have different purposes, maybe a little more crushable ones, maybe they're a bit of a thinner body. But if I'm honest, this is my preference every time, and it's okay.
Thicker the better, man. Like, let's get it.
Absolutely. Is this one plowed with oats?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I plow with everything. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. That's awesome, man. Eldorado, I think, is Eldorado is a fun addition. I feel like I don't see it in haze as much as I used to. Do you guys?
Yeah. We use it fairly often. Just like really like reinforces like those like kind of tropical fruit notes, and that's kind of what we were going for with that beer. Just like in your face, stone fruit, tropical fruit. With like that little bit of dankness to kind of like round it all out.
And it's also Peakfinder kind of is leading into Placid, where we're at right now, and then it goes into way over Yonder, and then like you and I were talking, right? Craig. Yep. The Summit series is now taking over Placid, but this is kind of where our labels we're geared towards on at least the hazy side.
Okay. When you say taking over Placid, you mean is that another beer
I'm just
So
saying,
like,
like,
yeah,
or the
yeah,
new
go ahead,
space?
Jordan.
kind of with like our Summit series and kind of, like we're, even Cazenovia is like, it's not in like a big city. So it's very, you know, kind of like our, not doing like a full rebrand, but kind of focus our branding into kind of, kind of, a little bit cleaner, kind of like outdoorsy,
Sure that again.
kind of that type of vibe. So,
Totally.
and I think that kind of captures it kind of perfectly.
Yeah, this is exactly it.
Yep.
This is money. Now, is this level of IPA, is this reflective of the Mize Creek IPAs, typically speaking?
I feel like this is kind of like where we're headed with our IPAs,
Okay.
kind of now that Jimmy's like really getting his hands into, putting his expertise and his passion for IPAs, like, and kind of like making them his own now. Like, that's kind of the direction that we're heading in.
That is extremely exciting. I want to gas up the beer nerds. You get people watching and listening. You're gonna need this shit. This is gonna be some stuff people like gonna be traveling for to get. This is like fan fucking tap. This is the type of shit. If I'm gonna go somewhere and I try this, this blew my mind. This is so fire.
Thanks,
Jimmy,
man.
what are some of your dude? You killed it. What are some of your Did you have, inspirations as far as the breweries or brewers or anything that you wanted to sort of not mimic, but just inspired by? Like, hey, that's the type of haze I'm trying to do.
So honestly, like you were talking just a little bit ago, Fiden's, Treehouse, the way their body of the beer is, the way the mouthfeel is that rounds out the beer is kind of where I was trying to take over. And it's not even just them, it's kind of where the hazy is kind of leading out. Everyone's trying to get that thick, dense body, a nice light color with a great soft mouthfeel. And that's kind of where I'm just trying to at least get the base of the beer and then take the hops, to round everything into that base. So that's where I've kind of just trying to take Myers Creek. I've been there for a little bit and kind of have seen the beers, and it's also like anything with lagers, they've generated into something, and you see New England's as where they were when they first started to where they are now. It's a totally different New England than it was when it first started. Now people are trying to get a denser, thick, soft, juicy mouthfeel, but also use those hops as a very vibrant aroma and taste and flavor, but also get a little bit of dankness with the bitterness to it,
Round it out.
And that's kind of where we're trying to lead towards. And that's where we use the 6-barrel. We're trying to use the 6-barrel as like with our first summit, we wanted to just do 6 barrels of it, see how the new hop was, see how the base was, and was there anything we could do that we needed to tweak before we went into 12 barrels to put in cans, which obviously, 6 barrels is a large amount of beer to tweak, but
Yeah, it's not small.
no, it's not. But having that 6-barrel just to do a little bit of tweaks and to see where we need to go before we go to 12 and then 60 to 120 to 240, it's a nice leverage to have.
Yeah.
Damn. Is this the first New England that you guys have done in this way with this creamy, murky body?
I think it was actually when I originally had started taking over the position. This was actually the first beer that we decided to take over. And Jordan kind of gave me, he was like, dude, do your thing and run with it. And this Peakfinder was our first one that we ran with. And we're still making tweaks to it. You know, it's
Oh, this
still
is not the first time. This has been around.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is the second. This is the second time I think we've right, Jimmy, that we brewed Peakfinder. This is the second time.
Yeah. So, you know, and I think, you know, Jordan and I spoke about it when we packaged it, and I think there's going to be some minor tweaks that we need to do for packaging to get forward to make our, you know, our yields better and everything else. But, you know, body wise and base with malt is spot on, and I think we're good with that.
Yeah.
It's just the minor tweaks that we need to do with dry hop and stuff going forward with that.
Gotcha. I can't believe how good this is. This is insane.
Thanks, man.
If this is the direction you guys are going in, and as you were saying before, that like this is the way that IPAs are going. I kind of, because we talked to a lot of breweries on here. When I say we, I have a co-host, but I always do. He's on paternity leave right now, which is a funny way to say because ain't no
good luck, brother.
Yeah, he's on his second. So hey, no me, I got a dog, so I get to chill. But the breweries that we talk to, I mean, there's variances. I mean, there's the breweries that I, and clearly the three of us would gravitate towards, the ones we've spoken about tonight that do this type of stuff. There's a lot of other breweries that have a completely different approach to haze. I think that if a brewery does a beer like this is you're taking haze extremely seriously, and you is it fair to say that you want the name Myers Creek to be mentioned up there with the other breweries that were mentioned tonight that do?
I would love to. That's my plan. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and that's fully supported by the team. Everyone's with the shits. Like, let's go.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's awesome, because I feel like it's being that it was the styles that you guys are doing are so eclectic. Typically speaking, tell me if this is a fair take, that the breweries that would do this style of IPAs aren't always the breweries who would have such an eclectic, you know, you got 16 taps with 16 different beers. Like you had Fidens, and then most of them are IPAs, and they had a couple of Crispies, and they had a couple stouts or a sour or something, and then everything else is IPAs, right? So you guys are very eclectic. You got a bit of everything. So this is not what I would expect from a brewery that does a bit of everything. And obviously we've had two Crispies that were exceptional, and now having this, I'm like, fuck, man.
Well, that's kind of why I had you start with this, because when you get to Velvet, it's a different hazy. It's a good hazy. You know, but you're going to see, you know, we are an eclectic, and we have a variety of hazies that, and that's kind of where I was saying, like, hazies have kind of formed into
like this
a new realm. But
because you got this, and there's even like a brewery here that always the owner definitely loves this style, but their flagship is like half as thick on the body, intentionally so, and they've worked on it because it's, I don't know, it's a little bit lighter than this. It's like 6 point something, 6.5 or something, but it's intentionally a little lighter so that it can be crushed, even if it's not like 5%, it's 6 something. It's able to be like that, and I'm like, I understand that completely, because you got that, but then they'll go and deliver something like this. I'm like, okay, cool. So you can do it. You just have this one has a purpose. So it's like, even in the realm of haze, I think there's some breweries who do it how I just described. Then there's some other breweries, kind of like whatever. Like I feel like Treehouse is actually quite varied, but say something like Fidens, it's almost all like this, and they're just like, fuck it, that's what we do. Other breweries out here, like maybe you're familiar, Jordan, from coming like Badlands or Counterpart right over the border in Niagara Falls. Like all their shit is like this.
Hey, not to interrupt, but I'm using the pisser.
Do you want to take a pause?
Can we do a little pause?
I'm hitting it, dude, because I gotta go.
Go for it. We're gonna take a pause. We'll be right back. Take your time.
Perfect.
And we are back. And we were just talking off air. We're talking about how good this beer. I was just gassing the boys up about how dope this beer is, and how much Chris at Brew and Bottle, because I'm going to message him. You need it in there because I want the people to have it. Jimmy, you were just saying about this beer. You did something with the Pilsner, with the malt.
So this beer in general is just our baseline New England, but we're going to go a little bit wider and broad with our Summit series. It's going to be the same base, but I decided to add some two-row to it
Okay.
to just bring out a little bit of sweetness to the beer. You know, two-row is going to bring some sweetness. This is Peakfinder has complete Pilsner malt to it, but yeah, Summit Series is going to be same base, but we're going to try to spotlight new hops, you know, things that are coming out in the market that no one has really tried, or just kind of just seeing what the hop itself is bringing out in a beer. So that's kind of where I just wanted to lay a beer. Is we've always kind of used multiple different hops. I just want to see what a hop in a beer is alone, you know. So that's kind of where we're at. So our first one is going to be
Summit
Mount
Series
Marcy.
is single hop. Is that right? Just
Yeah.
to confirm. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, keep going.
Yep.
So, the first
So
one?
our first one is Mount Marcy. We're going to be doing Crush. It's going to be Crush Cryo,
Nice. Crush is great.
single hop of Crush, and that's where we're going to go. And then we're going to do Algonquin, which is New Zilla, and then we're going to do a single hop for our third one for Haystack, which is Citra.
Okay, fire. And they're all going to be, just to confirm, this style, murky,
Yep.
thick, creamy.
Yep. Correct.
A little bit green. Let's go.
Yep. And you can kind of at the point when you get all 46 cans, you can get the whole Adirondack High Peaks. So if you collect all the cans, you can put all the cans together and you'll see the whole Adirondack Peaks.
Yeah. It'll kind of be like if you put all the cans together, it'd be kind of like a panoramic view of like all of those 46 high peaks in the Adirondack. So
That's awesome.
it'll be like a little bit of like a collector's edition.
Yeah.
Too, so.
That's creative. I love that. And how long, I guess, is that going to be? It's not going to be 46 weeks, obviously. It's going to be over a period of time.
It'll probably take a few years, honestly.
Yeah.
Like 1 a month-ish?
Yeah, kind of around there.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a solid 4 years.
Yeah, it's
So
going to
like
be
24, 48, 46. Yeah, so it's just under 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to do that because every year there's something new and something exciting that, you know, the hop growers are experimenting with, hybrids or whatever. So that's kind of where I was leading towards on this, was what's new, what's exciting, what are people searching for, but let's do it alone, not add something into it. Let's just see how the hop itself brings to the beer. And then, you know, as the brewers, can we add this to something else to make it different into another beer?
Yeah. And the single hop allows you to really get that expression. So you really understand what that hop can deliver. So then it's like, all right, in harmony with other hops or hop products, even like, you know, whether it's cryo, incognito, abstracts, all that type of stuff.
Yep.
You'd be like, all right, how can we get this going? Has the Summit Series, it has not begun as yet, right? It's about to.
It's about to. We just took we just did like our first kind of trial batch, which is like draft only.
Sick.
So that just came out of tanks, Jimmy?
Yep.
So then we'll have probably in like 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, our first canned version of our Summit Series. So
amazing.
That'll be Marcy, right, Jimmy?
Yeah. So Marcy will be crushed cryo. That will be our first Summit.
Okay.
Yep.
And are they, what's the ABV for those ones? Are they all going to be the same through the whole series?
Yep. So they're all going to be 7% alcohol.
7 even. Love it.
Yep.
Because this one's 7.25, I think.
Yep.
So it's like just a bit about. So this one, because it's got 3 different hops, it's not of that series, but it's sort of just still speaking to that sort of same vibe as far as like the peak.
Yeah. Kind of like a little precursor, kind of like this is kind of where the Summit Series kind of like came out of. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, you know, this style of beer, you know, with, you know, that hop bill, that grain bill, and, you know, some little tweaks. But yeah, in essence, like the Summit Series is kind of like was born out of this beer.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So
that's dope. I like that whole idea, and I like the dedication to a theme based on where you're at, like how the proximity to. Are you guys in the Adirondacks or just south of it?
We're just south of it.
Just south. I remember we went to Treehouse and they had this map on the wall of Saratoga where it is. And it was like, because I don't really understand. It was like Adirondacks to the northwest. The southwest was Catskills. Then it had two other ones. So like Saratoga Springs was like right in the middle of all of these mountain ranges. Because whenever we went to Vermont, you'd go through. If you drove to New York City, you drive through the Adirondacks.
Right.
And I think they're in Vermont, or is that another mountain range? I think it's another mountain range.
I think it's another one.
Yo, I took a photo of this shit because it was fire. I was like, yo, because I just had no idea. I never really like looked it up. As far as like, here it is. So they had like a. Let me show you guys like a map, like that.
Oh, that's cool.
On the there you go, of the wall. So Saratoga was in like the middle. And it had all the different mountain ranges around it. So the northeast is Green Mountains. Oh.
Yeah.
Vermont, Green Mountain State.
Yeah.
South of that is called Berkshires.
Yeah, the Berkshires. Yep.
Berkshires, and then
Catskills. That kind of stretches like Berkshires kind of stretch into like Massachusetts.
That would make complete sense.
Like Western Mass. Yep.
Yeah, Pittsfield State Forest. It says, which is familiar. Okay, so there's a whole. It was just really cool to see. Like I hadn't really like looked at a map and seen sort of like how everything is laid out. So it's super dope that you guys are really embracing that sort of New York State like heritage and that kind of the proximity to something as cool as that mountain range. Is just beautiful.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And the Adirondacks is just like a huge area. Like I think it's something like you could fit like Yellowstone National Park, Denali, like all these big like national parks. You could fit like 4 of them inside the Adirondacks. Yeah, because it's not like a national park or like whatever, but like it's huge.
Right. So it's definitely worthy of
a
series like this as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And 46 high peak summits is what it is.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys learn about this shit in school? Growing up in Syracuse-ish?
I know. I learned from Jimmy.
So
I'm not much of a hiker.
I tried. I did Whiteface, Algonquin, Marcy, Esther. I've done a bunch, and then when I had kids, I kind of stopped.
Chilled a bit.
I couldn't really. Yeah. I was kind of tied down at that point, but
I mean, you could take the kids, but maybe it's a whole.
That's
thing.
why I told your co-host, good luck.
Yeah. I haven't heard from him as much as before, and I think he's pretty.
Yeah.
But
when I heard that Myers was going to go to Placid, I was like, hey,
let's go.
Let's go. Like I've got so many ideas for this place, and let's make it what Myers is actually kind of just slowly branded out to be. And that's where I wanted to go. So, and that's where Way Over Yonder is kind of led,
Should we grab into
Let's.
So no, you don't have that one, Jordan?
I'm severely lacking on my my beers. Been sampling too much beers this week.
So Craig, this one is kind of a different style of a West Coast.
Okay.
You get a lot of caramels in a normal West Coast, in my opinion. I've kind of
American IPA.
Yeah, I've kind of a new age, I guess.
New school. Yep.
New school.
Very familiar. On a West Coast kind of style, but then like updated a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm
excited. So I wanted to make it less malt forward and more hop forward. I wanted to get those bitterness really up front and also those hop characters really to shine, not have the malt take over.
That is dope. I'm here for it. I found there's my co-host Nathan and I were very, very, very big on West Coast IPAs and American IPAs. I feel like they're like there's nary a drinking session that either of us would have where we are not consuming one of these. I feel like they are. Yeah, I see what you're saying because it's got that little touch of cloudiness, which means there's a shit ton of hops in here. Which I'm loving. I was very happy because Ben was just like, it wasn't in the fridge, and he's like, I gotta get you a Yonder. Give me 1 second. He went and grabbed it specifically because we were just sort of winging it, and then I just emailed you guys with what he gave me.
Yeah.
And I was very happy when he told me it was a Westie, because it's just, I don't know. I feel like they're like, I feel like with you guys tonight, the lineup is so dope because we're really getting into so many different styles that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's breweries either love Westies, like it's sort of like it's breweries who just do IPA, New England IPAs, like we just had, don't always do West Coast IPAs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So that's very cool to me that you guys are doing that, and particularly a new school style that completely, I think it complements the range of IPAs. You know, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And I feel like these kids, when I say the kids, you know, just the drinkers who weren't drinking when I know you guys were before me with all this, but you know, I've been in it a decent amount of time, 15 years. You guys are like 18, but they missed this wave. They grew up. You know, imagine if you got into beer in the last 5 years. You think a sour is a smoothie. You think an IPA is a New England IPA. That's not a bad thing, but I mean, you missed this.
Right.
You missed the whole.
Yeah.
You know, and all the things we were talking about before with like Stone and Rogue and through the 20 teens.
That's
don't get me wrong.
Started in, and
that's where. That's exactly what Jordan was saying. Like, that's where it started. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, that old school is still in our heart, but you know, we gotta kind of transition. Yep.
But you're also honoring that legacy, which I think is.
But we'll still do it.
Dope. Yeah. Because you guys still like it, right? If you guys are into it, you'll still do it. Now,
I wish I had one right now. To be perfectly honest, I'm kind of jealous. Like,
I apologize, bro. I apologize for doing it. So this one here, I don't think it says hops on the can here. It does not. At 6.25.
Yep. So we used Mosaic, Citra, and Simcoe.
Mosaic, classic right there. Let me
write we also did a lot of liquid to it, so we used a lot of YCH Dynaboost and Hyper Boost in the cold side.
Which do you remember? Which was which?
So we used Citra, actually Mosaic, Citra, and Simcoe Dynaboost and Hyper Boost. So
perfect. That makes it easy for my review here. This is fucking crazy. So you're absolutely right. I would describe this as a new school West Coast IPA.
Mm-hmm. So you get the bitterness, right?
Oh yeah, the nose is kind of mellow. Could also be. We've had a few beers back to back. The it's got a mix between, which is typically a new school one, like a mix between like creamy body and that sharp carb that you would get from a Westie. The bitterness, absolutely. It's there. It's like a pithy grapefruit citrus zest bitterness with a bit of like grassy pine, but it's subtle, and the hops are definitely doing the work. And now that you've told me that it's Hyper Boost and Dyna Boost, that is probably speaking through that, like those newer hop products that are more saturated, that are very intense and bright. This is money. This is the type of Westie that I think is more of a gateway Westie, because if you give somebody a more traditional West Coast, more amber, like you said, this is not really that amber style. This is kind of like a pale haze, like New England IPA, whatever. Like, I think people would be scared off of the old school Westies, but I feel like the newer drinkers that we're just talking about who got into IPAs from New England, they would enjoy this and appreciate this.
Yep.
That's what people I've spoken to seem to sort of be have expressed that to me in the past, and I was like, okay, fair. I like them all. I think that.
But like you were saying, like it definitely needs more of a pungent aroma, in my opinion. Like, it needs a little bit more hit to the nose. You know, it needs there's some tweaks to it that definitely, when you first pour it and open it up, like, we're gonna need a little bit more pungent.
More punch.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at this at all, though. Like, I see what you're saying.
But you also get that West Coast, like when you first sniff it, like you're getting that.
Every time I drink that beer, I just get like Simcoe, like right away, and it's just like super pungent, like
Orange citrus. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, this is fire. This is exactly the beer that needs to be right after. I would have a haze like Peakfinder, and then I would have a beer like this. Then move on to another haze. You just got to cut it with something. And I feel like this cuts it perfectly while still remaining bright and tropical and hop forward. But it's got that. Yeah, you could dial this up a bit, make it a little more bitter, a little more dank, a little brighter.
Yep.
But I think, is this the first time you've done it? I mean, based on there's not many check-ins on Untapped.
Second time. I think we did second, but the first batch was draft only. So
okay. I'm also very partial to the word Yonder. So when he said he's going to grab a Yonder, I'm like, fuck yeah, going Ben, you legend.
He is a legend. I love that.
Shouts to Ben. Yeah, he had no idea what I was even talking about. I was like, hey man, I'm here. I got an email from Crystal, and he's like, oh okay. Did they tell you? I'm like, I don't know, man. Just figure. He's like, all right, let me do. And he just everything we're drinking tonight was because Ben just put it together. So shouts to Ben. This is killer. Now this beer, if this is the second time, Westies in general though. Is it something that you guys have done a lot of?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, we've done a number of different ones. We had like kind of a West Coast series that was kind of like Ron Burgundy focused. So we were kind of doing that, but definitely much more like even like Jimmy wants to increase that bitterness level. They were a lot more subdued. They were kind of more on the maltier end as well. We had kind of some that were, had, grapefruit peel in them. To kind of like really boost that up. Kind of think like a la like Ballast Point grapefruit sculpin, something like that, where it really just like, really emphasize that pithiness. That kind of bitter, a little bit different than the hop bitterness, but kind of, really wanted to kind of focus more on having that kind of lighter malt bill, little bit more clean, and just really bring back the bitterness. Bring back bitterness is, something that, like I said, when I first got into craft beer, that's what it was. Lagunitas and Al Smith and all those California, San Diego breweries that were just pumping them out are just great, And
I'll tell you something, like it's pretty difficult to get a Westie to be almost like lager style, but have all that roundness with the hops. The clarity, the bitterness, and also try to punch that, aroma and bitterness all together without having any malt to back it up.
That's a good point.
Like old school West Coast, you've got caramels, you've got things to back it up, and you're not really looking for clarity, at that point, because you've got that haze, that dark color. There's no way to clear it up. With this beer, I've got Pilsner malt, Vienna, and a few other things. And then I'm trying to get it crystal clear like a lager, but also have that dank citrus notes to it with a bright bitterness. It's kind of hard to keep all that together.
I was gonna say, is that like essentially impossible, or is
I'm not gonna make it.
Don't say that. I would
figure it out.
Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry, I would never say that again.
No, don't say it.
I promise.
Next time you have a Yonder, it's gonna be
crystal
clear.
But like, I'm not mad at this, right? Like, I understand what you're saying. I feel like that's a killer goal, but like, like most this is like we said earlier, this is a new school West Coast IPA.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's heavily hopped. And
Yeah.
I don't is okay. Then I guess the question is it possible with those hop oils from these alpha acids?
100%.
It is possible.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Is it centrifuge? Is that the secret?
No. Nope. No centrifuge. No enzymes to it. Nothing.
Just
So that's why I'm like, we look at it now. Like I'm looking at it, and we're gonna get it clear. And I want it like lager clear, but I want it like an old school West Coast. That's my goal.
when you say old school, you meaning
I want it dank, piney, like all
amber
that.
or copper, but not on
No. I want this color, but I want it to taste hop wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that goal. Because then it's still like it's old meat, like meets new school because it's
Correct.
It's the new school look in this yellow as opposed to the amber. If you think of highlight or
but when they pour it, it looks like a lager.
Yes,
and you're like, well, what did I just get? And then you're like, holy shit!
Like, it's a
fucking West Coast. Like,
it's crazy.
That's my goal. Like,
what's the appetite for Westies that you guys have seen from the people?
I feel like they're starting to trend back upwards from what I saw. I think, from what I'm seeing in the market right now is hazies are kind of starting to flatten out a little bit in terms of just in terms of like how I see like volume and sales and through different breweries. And, it's not like hazies were riding this like huge crazy wave, lines out the door, people are waiting, there's a drop coming in, people are waiting outside the bottle shop to get their things. I've kind of seen that mellow out a little bit, like, so I think people are not getting fatigued, but I think it's now kind of, like we started with West Coast and then we ended up at hazies. I think people are starting, like we were talking about the people that missed those West Coasts and they started with hazies. I think they're starting to open up a little bit to some bitterness and some different flavor profiles. I've seen like a bit of an uptick in sales of West Coast just through different accounts and stuff like that. Start to see a little bit more Lagunitas IPA coming back,
But shit, who doesn't like a celebration? Like celebration.
One of my favorites. It's like the one beer that I really look forward to every year is
like,
Sierra Nevada Celebration.
Go down to Premier Gourmet and pick that shit up.
Yeah.
But you do want a multi beer at times, it's not like a crystal clear beer is what we're looking for. It's like, celebrations, nice and malty, hop forward. It's got all that character to it. Like, but it's also like the challenge of making a crystal clear beer with a dry hop to it is a challenge. So that's kind of where we're going. But shit, celebration. Yeah. I'll be in line. I'm ready for it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I like that goal. I like hearing that there's more of a renewed interest. It almost feels like not only the folks who missed out on this maybe are getting exposed to it, because if they got into haze, then all the breweries like you guys and like many others who are doing haze, and then they were like, hey, we got this. Well, I love all the other stuff they're doing. Why not try this? And they're like, oh shit, this is this is fire. It's similar to lagers, whereas lagers are coming back in the similar-ish sort of way, and in a new way that are being exposed to these new audiences. So if we get the more people that drink, I don't know, I think it's super positive. The more people we can get to drink these type of West Coast IPAs, I think it's just it's better, and it lets people know I don't know, if you I almost feel I'm grateful for, say, the three of us, the way that we got into beer. Once again, you guys were
Yeah.
before me, but sounds like we had a similar process where you go through
Yeah.
the color wheel and the Belgians and
Mhm.
all the different IPAs and then chasing the IBUs and all this sort of stuff. Like
Yeah.
the newer drinkers didn't get to experience that, but this is a way
Yeah.
that they're going to. And it's not quite the way that we experienced it, but it's
Yeah.
close enough, and to be able to get a high quality West Coast from a brewery that they're already loving their other styles from. I think it's I don't know, I think it's cool, and it gives people, I don't know, it's like a roundedness in enjoying beer and their eclectic taste, and it allows them to if they're already messing with a brand, like they're like, oh, I really love this brand, like Myers Creek. So I'm like, well, I love the haze, I love the crispies, I love the sours, I love the stouts and porters.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, fuck, they got this like way over yonder, this West Coast. I'm like, all right, let's see what's up with this. And like I feel like it's you guys are well positioned. That's the other thing with the breadth of what you offer. You're well positioned to bring people in as like with various gateway beers, which could be kind of anything at this point, because they're going to be in there for maybe other reasons. And even if they're already beer drinkers, is it even gateway? I guess, but it's a gateway to what to other things.
Yep.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, like I kind of fell into this style of a West Coast from the West Coast.
Okay.
So Monkish, a bunch of West Coast style breweries were doing this, and that's kind of what intrigued me to broaden my West Coast on, like, well, what else is out there? Like, all on the East Coast, you were like, well, it's very malty, it's very dank, it's very hop forward. And then I started seeing that the West Coast was doing less of that than the East Coast was. So that's kind of where I was like, well, let's take less of that malt out and bring more hops forward. And I love hops, so let's bring them all. Let's bring them all into the pot.
and find that kind of perfect malt balance for
correct,
because you could argue that the Westie, as opposed to the New England, if we're talking about New England's, no one talks about the malt profile, even though we did tonight, which is cool as fuck that you guys did do that.
Yeah,
but it's arguable that we're talking about the about Westies, which are a malt forward product in comparison. So I don't think it's a bad thing to talk about the malt on this and to sort of like tweak it and to, I don't know, make it part of the discussion a little more. Because
well, it's kind of like when you build a base of a beer, what do you first start on? Malt.
Absolutely.
It's like then you build it off from that. So if you don't have a base, you don't build from that. So that's kind of where you start. That's why I always talk about the base or the body of the beer or anything, because that's where it then starts to grow into what it is from the beginning of a base. And that's why we've kind of talked about so much of base beer or where the base has begun, because that's where the beer starts, is from the base.
And this one, was there like a base beer for this, or this was like the OG of this specific?
It's the OG, and it's,
The OG.
it's, and like you and I talked about, Craig, is like it's gonna evolve into something different, because this is kind of our first style of the beer, and like you and I were talking, like it needs a little bit more punch to the aroma. It needs a little bit tweaks to where I'm looking at and clarity and everything, but that's kind of where I'm going with it. But sniffing it right now out of the glass, like I want more tropical notes. I want more citrus. I want more hop forward. And then when you get it, it's more dank.
Understood. I love it when brewers and people at the brewery like critique the beers. I love seeing that level of unsatisfactory or dissatisfaction with the product, because it's that forever improvement, right? Like I'm smelling this, like when I imagine you guys do it too. I love smelling haze from the can, or just IPAs from the can. It's more concentrated. This smells intense from the can, much more intense from the can than it does from the glass, which it always typically does. But if you're trying to like ramp it up even more than this, bro, let's go. I
Yeah.
think it's a fantastic goal, and I think it's like, you know, why not trying to make these things as best as you can. That
Yeah.
yeah. Is there a flagship Westie? So I know this was the first of this one, but there were other Westies. There's no other flagship or anything else.
No, we kind of, you know, we had another cease and desist from Paramount Pictures. Ron Burgundy beer. We did call the "I'm Ron Burgundy?" ? And,
Oh, you guys!
so
are
we decided
hilarious.
to move away from that one as well. So
Let me see if I can find this so I can see this one on top here.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you just Google "I'm Ron Burgundy?" Myers Creek, the label should come up. It's
it'll be that. Like, I'm gonna Google it now. I'm Ron
Yeah.
Burgundy. Yeah, like you guys are really loving the like pushing it.
We were doing a lot of pop culture stuff and just kind of stuff that, like, I don't know, I thought was funny. And then we're like, okay, well, we got to streamline this brand and kind of make it a little bit more cohesive. So that's kind of where we've been kind of working towards in the last like year or so.
Okay, this was the grapefruit one that you were talking about before. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So this was the closest thing to
Like
some form of a.
It was like there was like a ballast point sculpin element, you know, with the grapefruit peel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
but that was the closest one to like, so I guess I said flagship, but like sort of just one that was around and available.
Yeah.
More often.
Yep.
Okay. So the new era, the non-cease and desist era,
yes,
is the way over your hopefully. No, you well. I mean, yeah, hopefully. Way over yonder is more. It's going to stay as this brand, and it will just be tweaked until you guys are satisfied, and then that'll be that. Now, would this become some form of a series like the Summit series, or Way Over Yonder Citra, or something, you know, like, you know, specific hops or something like that?
Potentially, you know, I think we really want to just work on like nailing this one first, and then that, you know, easier to kind of do, you know, kind of tweak one beer and then kind of figure out what you're doing. And then when you kind of go into doing another, you know, West Coast style or an offshoot of Way Over Yonder, something like that, you've got a pretty good idea of what you need to do. It's got to make that beer what you want.
Yep.
So
perfect this one. Get it where you want it to be, and then you guys can decide if you want to do some sort of a Westie series.
Yep.
I feel like there's a brewery in Quebec that's good friends of ours that they've done like tens and tens of West Coast IPA. I've never seen another brewery anywhere else do it, and I wonder if there's a bit of a lane for that. Like from pale ales from like 5% to doubles 8%, you know, and everything in between. I don't think they ever did triples or anything, but and just sort of like they're so, I was gonna say few and far between. They're just so infrequent Westies that they maybe there's a bit of a lane there that once you get it to where you want, that there could be just like the Summit series for New England's, there could be something similar for Westies. Because there's not, I mean, maybe in the States there's more. They're starting
to have like more and more kind of like
just
hazy IPA focus. Yeah, like the hazy IPA focused breweries. I'm starting to see more and more of those, like kind of of those breweries doing one or two West Coast IPAs.
Gotcha.
You know, kind of having them available. So. Which is great. I love to see it, you know,
more variety, more fun stuff available.
Yep.
And I guess that means that there's an appetite for that in the market that people want. So therefore there might be a bit of a lane for you guys if you would like. I mean, is that interesting to you to do a series of Westies where that at length, you know, a little bit deeper in it?
Yeah. I don't know if there's quite the market share yet to want to do, you know, a whole series of them, like good taproom only things, you know what I mean? I said, we got 16 draft lines to fill, so you know, definitely
it's a good draw card to bring people in.
We always like starting things on draft, you know.
That's also like starting with like our 6 beers, like That's going back to what we talked about before, like dialing in and getting to know our base and getting to know our beer, with what you just said. On a series, you need to know your base. You need to know where we're going to go and how we're going to move forward with that beer before we go into a series. We need to get something forward and get something dialed in before we go to that next step of a series.
Yeah.
And I feel like right now Yonder needs to take some time to get to that point of us agreeing on let's go forward on that.
Yep.
I love that. And even just sort of based on what we're all saying as well, I feel like in comparison to here, like say in Ontario, there's year round less than a handful that I can think of. There might be others, but like that are good. Like Westies that you can get year round. Really not many. And that's like LCBO, like as in like the provincial. You know what's up. In America, there's a lot more, and we've mentioned so many of them tonight, whether it's Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, Lagunitas, or fucking Stone stuff, or Bells, or the High Lie and the Cigar City stuff. There's so many different Westies out there that are sort of legendary, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like perhaps the market kind of it's different. So obviously you got to think about that. I'm almost thinking about here. So I'm very like pro Westie. If any brewery's doing that, I want to gas it up. If they do it well, I'm like, everybody, this is incredible. Brewery, please do more of this, because I feel like there's more of a market to serve, and I want to encourage breweries to do it, because I feel like it's easier to do haze because that's maybe what people want a little more. But there's a little bit of education, whereas I think in America there's still that probably a large segment of the market that drinks all those aforementioned breweries that maybe they want to try something else that's amongst that's higher quality. As far not that those ones aren't high quality, of course they're impeccable, but you know what I mean, like not like like thoughtful. There's a series behind it. It's been perfected. It's not just like a once thrown shit at the wall type of job.
Right.
But yeah. I just wonder if there's sort of more room for it. But it almost, from what you guys are saying, sounding like it's like there might not be a room for some sort of massive series in the same way there is for haze, but based on the market itself.
Right.
And yeah, that's interesting to me.
So it's kind of where now we've gone to super dense to, I'm not going to say super light, but you're going to see the broad of our hazies. With Velvet Fog, it's a lighter, it's hazy, but it's also got all the notes of a New England to it. It's going to give you everything, but it's not going to be that beer that's dense, thick. It's going to be that almost traditional beer to you.
Should we jump into that?
Yeah, should we? Yeah, I think we should probably. Should we end on? Should we finish up with Velvet, or what do you think?
I'm not scared to do whatever you guys want. We can finish with Velvet. We can jump into Berryman afterwards if you want to do that still.
Yeah.
Absolutely not afraid. I came into this thinking that I might have to drink all 7, so anything less, I'm here for it. So this is one of the other flagship beers that we'll talk about all night. That Jordan, you've been drinking there while we've been sipping on these other two.
Yeah.
So Velvet Fog, this little glorious boy, and you can tell here as well that it's a flagship from the printed can.
Yep.
That was my guess when I saw this one as well, which is glorious. And this is 6.5% with it's got orange peel, citrus centennial, and mandarina Bavaria. So okay, this is gonna be a citrus bomb. Here,
yes, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so how long? Orange juice. What's the vibes with this bad boy? When did this one jump on the scene?
Oh, this was early on. This was this was in the rotation. Maybe
be right back, guys.
4 or months or so after we probably, started brewing. So I would say probably within the first 15, 20 beers that we brewed.
Okay, so pretty
And it
early
was
on.
kind of brewed, this beer had a purpose, it, people are, in terms of volume and, other things like that, you've got to be able to, kind of hit a price point on the shelves in the market. You know what I mean?
Totally. Big
So
time.
like
Particularly grocery and
this,
things like
yeah,
that.
like this is the one that can try and go compete price wise with a Fiddlehead or a Sloop Juice Bomb. Some of those other kind of, I would say, more affordable hazies. Hazies can definitely be on the higher end. In the States, you're looking at $18, $19, $20 a 4-pack. This one,
It's kind of cheap.
we try and have on the shelves for like 14 or 15 bucks a 4-pack.
Is that it?
Yep.
Dude, I'm paying like, fuck. I'm talking like 25 to 30 bucks Canadian a 4-pack of
Oh,
solid
really?
haze. Like $14 is
Yeah.
such a fantastic price.
Yep.
I wonder if it's obviously there's like, different. It's just, ingredients now, particularly where this tariff sides as well. But like, ingredients have gone up. Maybe things just cost a little bit more here, but $14 is so fantastic. So does this compete with the other sort of,
yeah, kind
the
of,
market?
this is our number one volume seller. Wegmans is our big grocery chain here.
Yes,
And
I love Wegmans.
this is like,
Oh, this has got the most check-ins from any of the ones on Untapped. Oh, Jordan disappeared.
Later, dude. All right.
Yeah.
Craig, you and I, brother.
Me
We're
and
gonna
you,
do it.
buddy.
Yeah.
Jordan's like, fuck us.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to just keep, we got Barry Manilow and Dark Isle after this. So you and I are going to.
I'm not afraid.
No.
I'm not afraid. Okay, so this one is 6.5.
Yeah.
And this one is a big one. First of all, cheers, legend.
Cheers, brother.
Get that in here. These are fantastic.
So
is
this
like
is going to be this is
orange
a
peel
hard
in
beer for us to like maintain on.
Oh, nice. Yeah. This is very different to the others.
You've
It's
kind of
like,
got.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
on, go on.
It's light. It's a different hazy compared to where I'm kind of gearing Myers to.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you see it, like, obviously this is our staple beer. This is where Myers began,
Okay.
and this is where people have seen Myers as it is the last 5 years. But I'm trying to branch Velvet into a Peakfinder and beyond.
Okay.
So I'm not doing anything different with this beer. This beer has been a staple to us, so we're going to keep Velvet where it's at, but we're going to take Velvet and kind of branch it off into different value, different stages of a hazy. So this is like what we call Velvet. It's kind of where the beginner or someone that's trying to do a hazy, or it's kind of just
A gateway beer.
exactly. It's
And that is not a bad
beer to
word,
it.
by the way. I
Yeah.
feel like gateway
No,
beer.
yeah.
Just real quick, Jordan emailed and he said that he thinks his computer did like an automatic update and restart at midnight because we just hit midnight. So he thinks that he's going to jump back in.
Thanks, brother. Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. It's all good. But so a
You and I
gateway
are going
beer.
to finish this out. We're going to go.
I'm
We're
not.
going to go ham on these beers.
I got 7 glasses, 7 cans. I'm not trying to This cooler is not going to leave with a single can in that, sir. Don't you fucking worry about that.
All right, brother.
I'm with you, my guy. So,
All
like,
right.
I think that the idea of gateway beers is
Yeah.
truly undervalued because everyone wants to talk about what's sexy, what's new, all
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Yep.
But when you think of gateway, you're bringing in new drinkers, and I think this is the
Yeah.
type of beer that's going to bring in new drinkers.
Yeah. It's kind of,
sure.
yeah, exactly what you said. Gateway first steppers, like,
Yep.
hey, I want to try something new. I don't want to try something like Peakfinder that's just going to say,
That would scare the shit out of some people.
Yep. It would.
For you and for the three of us,
Yeah,
we're amped
yeah.
about it. But for
Yeah, I'm
somebody
ready.
who's coming off Coors Light and just getting into Floatin On By,
Right.
it's going to
That's-
be a little much,
Yeah.
And
So
this is that little middle ground that's going to be like, well, it's fruity. It's got some orange in it. It's got Mandarin of Bavaria, which is a phenomenal orange focus hop.
oh, dude.
Orange forward hop, sorry, which is awesome.
Yep. It's a light beer. You
Mhm.
know, it's not very. There's not much going on to it. It's a very light citrusy beer.
Yep.
And low carb. You know, there's not much to it. So, like Jordan
Very
said,
crushable.
it's one of our top sellers. So it's a lot of people that are just kind of getting introduced to it.
I think it's important for breweries these days to have a beer like this where, like, would you consider this a fruited IPA because it's got the orange peel, or is it not really fruited?
No.
Because no.
So we actually
just checking.
So we actually put the sweet orange peel in the whirlpool, almost like tea bags, right into the whirlpool. As soon as we send it from the kettle to the whirlpool, those orange peels circulate into the whirlpool.
Okay.
And we just kind of dip the orange peels right into the wort itself.
Okay. And what does that deliver at the end of the?
Well,
process?
it's delivering, a very orangey nose to it. It's giving it more of a vibrant character with that mandarina.
Gotcha.
Because the mandarina is also, like you said, is giving that orangey character, but we're also introducing sweet orange peel to it.
Which is fantastic and sort of makes it sort of bright.
Yep.
And bright and citrusy and
Yep.
and just sort of it almost feels like if you're newer to beer and maybe you like cocktail or something like that, like there's so much orange in this, it's that this is an orange bomb.
Yeah, it's very orangey.
In the best possible way. Also, I'm noticing here in Untapped, it's called the JMA Wireless Dome. I'm seeing a ton of check-ins there at like a big, what do you call it? A fucking sports field.
Yeah. So
what is that?
So that's our dome. So that's basically the Syracuse University sports arena. Football, basketball. We support all that. So it's
here for it.
Velvet Fog is throughout the whole dome.
That's one thing I do appreciate immensely about America, that there's craft beer almost everywhere. Like here, it's not quite to the same level. Whereas there, like, I dare you to go somewhere and not find at least something half decent. Like wherever you go, literally anywhere, including sports arena. That over here, the contract will be from Molson Coors or whatever, AB and Bev. So there'll be a whole bunch of shit that I'm like, fuck. It's just all like.
It's funny because you said that. Like, you'll get Velvet Fog, you'll get, Sierra Nevada, you'll get a vast variety of breweries in the sports arena here.
Okay.
You'll get from Myers Creek to Sierra Nevada to something higher, fight-ins. You know, you'll get something that is going to fit
Fight-ins
everyone.
in a sports arena?
No, I'm just giving you
Like,
if we had fight-ins in a sports arena, I'd be going to every game.
Hey, one day we're gonna have these Meier Creek, these Peakfinder
Yep.
that are next level, game changing.
I hope so.
That's the type
man.
of shit. I think it's just so special. Okay, the fact that you can get some like fire beer like this,
Yep.
local craft beer. I just think it's like, man, isn't that what you want to do when you want to go to a sports? Excuse me, you go to a big ass dome, you go to a big game. It's kind of fun. I don't want to sit there and drink some sort of multinational thing. I want to drink something that was made down the road.
Yeah, but as a brewer, it's cool to see. You know, we're talking a lot about fight-ins. Is like that small brewery is doing great things. You know,
They're going hard.
You know, and they're doing things right. It's cool to see as a brewer, like, wow, you guys are really crushing it, and you're doing it right, and you're really focusing on certain things. And that, you know, I've come from Long Trail to a vast small brewery to Meier's, and it's like watching them grow and watching to see what they're going to do is really cool to have that. And even you in Toronto, it's like, wow, Fiden's is bringing it all the way up to Canada.
Oh yeah, that was my second time going by, and I
That's cool, man.
This summer we didn't really do a lot of traveling. We did a bunch of stuff locally, and all I said to my girlfriend, I was like, if I can do anything this summer, I want to go to Albany, stay there. I want to go to Fiden's, I want to go to New Saratoga Springs. That's Treehouse. That's all I wanted to do, and we just did it on the weekend, and it was phenomenal.
Saratoga Treehouse,
fire,
fucking
yeah, it's bonkers. It's absolutely ridiculous. And
it's
everything. Everything lived up to what I was.
Have you been anywhere else?
I have been to Charlton and Tewksbury.
Yeah. Okay.
So Charlton obviously is like Jurassic Park. You know, it's absolutely bonkers. It's just like you look one way and there's fermenters as far as you can see. You look the other way and there's fermenters. And that was super fun. That was when they give you the wristband with like 3 drinks. This was 2 years ago. I went, and you can only have three beers. And Tewksbury was the same, which is the golf course. That was really classy. So it was nice to see a different vibe. It was still super busy. Here we go. Jordan's back. Yep, there he is.
Sorry about that.
We got you. Don't worry.
Like
we just stayed silent the whole time.
It did like an automatic update, like right at midnight. And I'm like, oh, perfect. This is great.
It was great that you emailed because I did read that. Thank you for that, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Don't say it like mid-sentence, like bye.
Like, but it's all good. At least you had to get you. I knew it'd be easy to get your ride back in. Jimmy held it down. He represented the brand very, very well.
Attaboy, Jimmy.
I got you, dude.
Nice. So where are we at?
We were gassing up Velvet Fog, gassing up Velvet, and we were just talking about the value of gateway beers, bringing new people in via a beer like this, as opposed to, you know, in the haze world, you got a beer like this and you got a beer like Peakfinder. Very, very, very different. This is going to speak to a different demographic. It's going to bring them into the fold, and then they will graduate to a place, you know, to drink the Peakfinder, maybe even a Yonder, things like that. And really, as you came in, we were just gassing up. We were just talking about Fidens and Treehouse and just the actual venue and the way that they're sort of like, because we were saying that that specific, like, people travel for beer, like, and all of this stuff has reached, you know, people up in Canada, say, like, you know, that, and that was why we did the trip. But it was all I wanted to do was, like, if I could go nowhere else this summer, if I had to just choose one thing, that was all I wanted to do, was just go to Albany so I could go to the 2 breweries out there. Yeah. Just to check it out and see, but just to soak up the region a little bit and see. Albany was always a drive-through. I've been to Fidens one time, but we just drove through. I'm like, oh, this is kind of wild industrial area with some fucked up buildings and shit. Cool. Let's go in there. A couple quick beers.
All concrete.
Everything's concrete.
Concrete buildings.
Concrete buildings, but the actual city of Albany was cool. Now staying there for the weekend,
really cool,
soaking it up. I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, it was cool. funnily enough, we went to Burial in Asheville. So
Yeah.
Burial's probably my favorite
Yeah.
brewery, period.
Okay.
I was following them on social, and they came through. I think they did a collab with Fidens. They did like a Mexican lager, which I didn't try because I wanted to get the Stein of the Marzen, but they came through. They did that, and I was watching what they went to Delaware Supply. Hadn't heard of it, so we went there because they went there, and was like, oh, this is a cool beer bar. That was super lovely.
Yeah.
And they're hosting. You guys familiar with Judas CL Péché Mortel?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
So they're doing.
what a beer.
They're doing. It's called Journée Péché. I don't know what it is in English. I guess Péché Day. I guess.
Yeah. Pesci Day. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing it at Delaware Supply. I didn't know that was that serious of a beer bar. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is fire. It made me so happy because I used to live 10 minutes walk from the original Laurier Judas CL brew pub in Montreal for 10 years. And I know the owner, they're fucking champions. It's the best coffee stout in the world. And the fact that I'm like this little bar that I saw Burial, I'm like, yo, okay, this is fire. And I'm like, oh, Albany's sick. And there was this other place called Albany Ale and Oyster around the corner from where we stayed at the hotel that Burial also went to.
Awesome place.
We didn't get to go there because there wasn't enough time. But I was like, okay, great to hear. So I'm like, I want to come back to Albany because I'm like, this is beautiful. This whole part of the state, New York State, is so incredible. I'm like, this is so sick. And it just kind of opened up our mind to sort of how dope the region is. And then going through Syracuse on the way, I've been through multiple times going to New York City because they take you through the city, that sort of like raised overpass where you kind of get to see everything. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Maybe I'm saying it in a basic way.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm sorry.
Is that funny?
She's gone. All right. Is that the raised overpass like 81?
Probably.
Yeah.
It was just something you go through the city.
I'm just
I'm like, oh, this is like this is really
like
this is a pretty place.
It's like
So I
our
was really-
troubles.
Yeah, well, it kind of like if you're just going through the city, I'm always like, oh, this looks kind of dope. I kind of want to stop here one time. And it was great to be like, well, I got to go to Syracuse because I got to go to Meier's Creek to pick up some beer. I'm like, oh, I was pissed that I couldn't stay. So I was just so impressed with the whole region. And I feel like there's like a movement of just incredible breweries doing amazing things in all of New York State right now. That's, I don't know, from looking outside in, I don't know how you guys feel, but just it feels like there's like a real. I moved from Montreal for 10 years to Hamilton, closer to Buffalo. The number one thing I was most upset about was losing my proximity to Burlington, Vermont, and etc. Because I'm like, oh, now I got to go to Buffalo. This is going to suck. Buffalo is so fire. Rochester, fire. The whole Finger Lakes region, killer.
Yeah.
Like, now going through Syracuse, Albany, all of this, I'm like, yo, upstate to Western New York is so sick. Saratoga, and then you guys are doing the Lake Placid thing, Adirondacks. I'm like, it's such a varied region with so much cool stuff going on that personally I wasn't aware of just how dope it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to get down to like the Hudson Valley area too is like awesome. Like go to like Suarez.
I just drank them at Delaware Supply. Yes, Suarez and Hudson Valley.
Suarez,
Brewery,
the Sloop is down there. There's like a ton of good ones, like ton of good breweries out of Hudson Valley area.
Plan B.
Yeah. And do you guys feel that being that sort of, you're sort of, what would you describe the region that you got from Syracuse to Cazenovia?
Yeah.
What would you call that? Is that central New York?
Yeah, that'd be like central New York. So like Syracuse, they kind of call like central New York. I guess you would say like, pretty much that whole like 81, like Route 81 kind of runs north and south through the state. Like, and then 81 runs all the way, 81 goes all the way through Pennsylvania. But that's kind of like
81's north-south. Okay, yeah.
The main kind of thoroughfare that'll take you, pretty much up through Watertown and basically to Canada,
Gotcha. Okay.
On that side. But, it kind of take you up through like Potsdam and Canton so that's kind of the north and south. And then, Route 90, kind of the throughway that's, kind of east and west. So, but they both meet, kind of in Syracuse. So, it's kind of funny. Like I've done a lot, I lived in Buffalo for 15 years. I grew up in Syracuse. Lived in Utica, you know, was always in, you know, Rochester and Albany, and they're all very similar, just like just subtle, different nuances a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's the vibe I'm getting to.
Yeah, but they're all very similar. You know, all good people. You know what I mean?
Such lovely people.
Yeah,
I feel like
and
we're all the same. Canadians, New York State, we're all very similar.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, people always say there's like New York, you know, they might not always come off as nice right away, but they're good people. You know, and then they say like, oh yeah, you know, people from LA, they're nice people, but they're not like good people. Like if your car is broken down on the side of the road, you got a flat tire, like someone from LA will be like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And like someone from New York will be like, oh man, that sucks. Let me help you fix that tire. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like two different ways of like
approaching that situation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'd take the guy who's gonna like kind of bust my balls a little bit for like getting a flat tire,
and actually
but then help me change it, and not to be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you,"
and just like move away and just
away. But like it's like all like, dude, they're all like good people, you know. Like Buffalo is like city of good neighbors, you know. That's kind of like the little like slogan for Buffalo, and it's true. Like, you know, you'll go there, you go to a random bar. You know, how many times I've seen just like someone from out of town, like, hey, I'm just kind of visiting. You know, what do you think I should do? You're like, oh, settle up, sit down right here. We're gonna figure out the rest of your day. I might join you for a little bit. So it's pretty cool.
I do love that, and I personally I've had that exact experience. I just feel like Buffalo is so lovely. Everyone is so nice. And even just going to our favorite is like on the thruway on the 90, there's the 2 with Shake Shack, because Shake Shack is the greatest.
Yep.
And even just going into there, people hold like you have a bit of a you know what I'm saying? Like Canadians are always known as like being super soft and nice and polite, and Americans are being a little more harsh, right? Like you go there, I'm like, y'all are like, we're all the same. I just feel like we're all the Western New York or the New York State Americans and the Vermont, I feel like they're the same as Canadian. We're all sharing the same piece of land as an invisible water.
Absolutely,
it's the same type. I'm saying this as an outsider to all the places. I just feel like everyone is so fucking lovely. It's so nice. It's so like, and even as Canadian, like say my girlfriend's Canadian, like she's like, oh shit, everyone's like so nice here. This is awesome. And you sort of, I feel like there's almost like you go to New York City and people get a little, you know, prickly as such, but it's New York City, it's different. But like in New York State, I just feel like it's very much the same sort of lifestyle. And I don't know, I just think it's like, I feel like almost the state is having, it was maybe overshadowed. Say we're talking about beer, like overshadowed by Vermont, by Massachusetts, by Maine. And I just kind of feel like New York State's having a bit of a renaissance. I feel like there's just so much fire happening here that it's, I don't know, you guys, do you guys feel it, or am I looking outside in and getting gassed, or what's the...
No, I mean, I've been seeing, especially in like the brewing industry, brewing community is there's, I mean, so many breweries, and, you know, everyone's always trying to like, you know, help each other out. There's no, you know, we've got some local breweries that, you know, are right near us, and, you know, Billy comes say, oh, hey, shit, I'm out of kettle defoamer. Can I come borrow some? It's like, yeah, come on over, bring us a 4-pack, and, you know, we'll hook you up. You know, it's just like, what do you need? Or I'm having issues with my canning line. Like, are you seeing the same thing? Or, you know, what have you been doing? You know, it's like, you know, it really is just like a community. So it's great. And that's the biggest thing that I like about the craft beer community, that like everybody's in it. It's a rising tides raises all ships type of situation, and not like, oh yeah, I got to be better than this person, or I got to sell more beer than this person, or you know, whatever. Like, let's take the whole industry and kind of raise it up. So
let's do it together.
Yeah, man. It's okay. I'm happy to hear that you guys are seeing that. It almost feels like, is it fair to say it's like a renewed thing of more? It just seems like there's more excitement around what's happening in the state.
Yeah.
even if you want to look at, once again, this is all coming from an outsider, other half, someone like them, opening in Rochester, opening in Buffalo, opening in Canandaigua, Mortalis doing multiple locations. You guys doing multiple locations.
I feel like it's just like a bigger, like, now that there's more breweries, I feel like there's more people to talk to, but I feel like it's been the same since day one. Now there's more people to actually reach out to or ask for a favor or
in the industry.
Right. So I feel like it's always been that way, but now we can actually, reach to a neighbor or reach to someone and be like, hey, do you have this, or can I reach out for some help or whatever? There's more people out there. Before, and back in the day, there wasn't as many people to be like, hey,
you guys would have seen that. I guess that's kind of why I almost bring it up as well, because both of you have been around in, whether it's New York State or Vermont for yourself, Jimmy, like seeing all of that growth and all of that change. And then just, maybe back in the day, you didn't have this many options to reach out to and then to come to you. And then now there's just like all of this, but there's like killer breweries. It's not just like breweries that are just like, oh yeah, they're here. They're fucking like attracting people from all over coming to visit and being excited about like New York State. I could have gone but like that's where I wanted to go, was to Albany, because I was like, fuck man, there's some shit happening out there.
And shit, like nowadays, like we're trying to load a pallet of 16-ounce cans before you're trying to load a pallet of fucking bottles. Like,
which is totally different.
You get a couple cans dropping on the ground, you're like, shit.
Yeah.
And then you got fucking half a layer of bottles just smashed.
Like smashed out.
And then right beside you is 4 fermenters. Like you're trying to like weasel your way in there. Like, it's a totally different game with now. It's just cans and versus bottles, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like I remember my first day trying to drive a forklift into the D-pal of, a full stack of bottles, and it's just shaking of glass.
You're like,
yeah.
I'm glad I never had to deal with bottles. The first thing I did when I took over was sell the bottling line over there, buy a canning line.
Get that fucking shit out of here.
The first thing I did, I listed that thing for sale. I'm like, this is a nightmare.
We don't need this.
No.
Yeah, I remember like Southern Tier back in because we used to get Southern Tier in the LCBO in the early 2010s, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And it was sick. And that was kind of like how you got beer. So it was cool to see it like slowly change into cans.
Yeah.
Like, and you guys
Oscar Blues was one of the brands that I sold like early on, and like they were one of the only ones that
only
did
in cans. I remember 1050 like in the short cans, and they did the 19, didn't they do the stovepipe?
They did the stovepipe ones, the 19.2s
like, of fucking like 10-12%.
1050 is like 14% or something.
14
like that. Wild.
That's one of the craziest things ever. Like a 19-ounce can. Like who's taking that to the face?
People do like New Belgium, like that they make like this Voodoo Ranger that's like 9% alcohol, and it like crushes at convenience stores because people are like,
well, one of them,
I'm gonna have one and I'm gonna smash it before I go home to my family and have dinner. So it's like literally, and in the parking lot, I'm gonna hammer this and then go about my day. I could never do it. I'm all set on that. But that is these 19.2s in convenience stores. I mean, y'all remember like when we used to when I used to first stock shelves, like I was putting up more 22-ounce bottles. Like that was pretty much the top shelf at
22, like
every
a 650 mil
grocery stores. 22-ounce bottles. So 650 because 750 would be like 25.4.
We call it 26 here. Okay.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Yeah, that was what was popping. 650 super popping. And then there was 750. But then like
like
all
Cajun
the rogue
Cork 750.
Cajun Cork.
Yeah,
And the
Rogue and
Rogue.
Stone did all the seven, like all those
They were-
like 650s. Yeah.
Or like what were the smaller ones they did? Was that the 12s? Were they just 12 ounces? Or
I think they
did,
were just 12. Yeah, they were doing like 12-ounce 6-packs.
like 500 mils
bottles.
or whatever. It was so crazy with the bottle days when you think back to like
Oh,
that's how we all
dude,
drank.
dude, it was a miserable time.
Yeah.
Like,
Imagine
you think
for you
about
guys,
it,
like packaging.
Like we had at Long Trail, we had a self tour, so it was on the second story. People could walk up at any time, and we had air compressed 6-packers. So the air would pull the 6-packs out into a full form,
Like the
slide
boxes.
them down, and then they'd get stuffed into a case box, and then they would slide down, and then the bottles would then go into a case, and then they would get glued shut.
Mm-hmm.
So you just imagine, and then we would be dumping bottle tops up top to make sure the bottles would get topped with the bottles. And you got people up there, and you got 6-packs blowing out the top because the pack tecker or the 6-packer wouldn't work. So you got cartons flowing out the top, like, and like, welcome to the tour. Like,
Hey,
this is how
beers are
6-packs are
exploding.
made.
Yeah.
And now you think about it,
Oh,
all we're
God.
worrying about is how are we going to get a pack tech on top of a 4-pack? Like, it's
Much better problem.
Yeah.
Jeez,
It's crazy.
It's a whole different time. How do you guys feel about a quick potty break? And then
Yeah.
we can get into these last couple.
Perfect.
Boom. All right, boys.
That works.
We'll be back in a
Great.
sec.
All right.
Alrighty, and we are back. And we are going to bring this bad boy home with the former ceased and desisted Berry Man smoothie. Is it a smoothie or is it a fruited sour? What do you call it? Oh, fruited sour.
Yeah, fruited sour. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say it's not quite on that smoothie, consistency, but I would say it's like a nice happy medium. It's not a thin beer by any means. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, it's literally every berry that we could find, and we tossed it in beer. So,
Hey, and I'm seeing on the side of the can here there is a significant volume of berries.
Yeah,
Yep.
pour hard.
I poured there. Hopefully
Yeah.
that is hard. We're looking at blackcurrant, blackberry, blueberry, goldenberry, raspberry, strawberry, and huckleberry. I didn't even know what the fuck a goldenberry is, but I'm here for it.
yeah. I don't know if I've ever had one in its true fruit form, to be honest with you.
That could be a fun piece of content right there. Just hanging out and trying all the different berries in Berryman.
Yeah.
Now, this one, was this available from sort of the beginning times before the
No.
C&D?
No, this was probably this kind of started as just like here and there beer,
Gotcha.
We've always been, we've always done very well. Our sours have always gone over super well. People really like them. They're super clean. Cheers, guys.
Yep. Cheers, brother.
Ooh,
But really, really just fruit forward.
let's go.
She'll get you.
Okay, I see what you mean. It's like it's not quite the but not a smoothie by any means, but the there's two check-ins. There's Berryman Low and Berryman.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You have to do the proper one, otherwise it's gonna be rude. And so this is like a Berliner West base.
Kind of just a, kind of started as a kettle sour, but, we kind of went away from doing kettle souring and using a yeast called Sour V that actually sours in tank in fermentation. So You don't have to kind of keep it in the kettle, keep it at 93, 94 degrees overnight until the pH drops down. It kind of does everything in fermentation. So
Gotcha.
it's something that we've been using, and it just like it ferments out like super clean. You know,
Okay.
We don't need to worry about bacteria.
Yeah. Yep. Like the kettle sours can always get a little bit on the diacetyl side and kind of have that little bit of slickness to it. This just works way better for us. You know, it kind of really lets the fruit shine.
I like that. That's and then, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different berries,
Yep.
which is bonkers, and it works so well. This is so tangy and sour. I didn't expect it from kind of like a super fruited sour. Usually it's like a cool ship mixed firm type shit that would have this. Like it's very punchy. So many berries. I bet if I really sat and chill with it, I bet you could probably start to taste most of them throughout it.
What kind of sours are you into? Like we're talking about.
The one I drink the most would be a smoothie, just because the breweries that I probably would go to the most would
so I gotta we're gonna step out of the realm of the beer.
Okay.
Because I just got a question for you if you're on the smoothie side.
Talk to me.
What are your thoughts on a smoothie seltzer?
Oh, I love them. Smooge from Holmes.
Yeah, Smooge has been doing those. They're out where, the Midwest?
They're from Ann Arbor, Michigan from Holmes.
Oh, yeah.
So the dudes at Holmes do that.
Yeah. So I got a neighbor across the street. It's like, dude, I've been trying because he's from Michigan.
Oh, so he knows about Smooge.
Yeah. So he's like, I've had this brewery that's got these fucking sours that are seltzers that are smoothies. They're literally just smoothie seltzers. And they're fucking fantastic.
They're glorious.
I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was like, he's like, dude, it's just straight like sour smoothie like seltzer. And I was like, well,
you wouldn't know that it's a seltzer though. It tastes like a beer as far as the
right. Because all you're really getting is, especially
pureed
smoothies that are all pretty much like post-firm fruit edition, right tang fruit editions.
Exactly.
You're just getting mostly fruit. Like the base beer is pretty, pretty mild.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on
beer?
Oh, I'm here for it, dude. I love it. I think they're phenomenal. I think what they seem to have captured an interesting corner of the market because it's a separate brand to Holmes.
Yeah.
So they we had them on the pod in like 2017 when they hadn't been open that long.
Okay.
My friend knew them, so we went out there. We did a bunch of Michigan content back then.
Nice.
And then we went back. I think I've been to Detroit like 3 times in the last year or two, and because it's not too far, it's like 3 hours from here.
Yeah.
And it's I was able to pick up. Even we went in July, and I was to picked up some Smooge again, and it was bonkers. Like strawberry banana, I think was the flavor I got. The last time I went to Holmes, grabbed a couple of different ones. It was like it's super. It's really fun, and they've seemed to have captured a nice little.
It's a seltzer, right?
Yeah,
it's a smoothie seltzer, but they don't have a distilling license, so it must be a malt based seltzer.
Yeah, probably a sugar. Yeah, probably sugar based, like we're doing, Jimmy.
Yeah,
all right.
With the shit ton, and it's definitely not as puckering as this. I think this is fantastic in a different way. It's a different type of product. This is fantastic. That is like it's just a fruit juice thing. That is in the Red Bull style cans.
Yep.
In the little skinny little pack decks.
Yeah, like the slim cans.
The slim cans, exactly right, and they work super well. I feel like it's super. I feel like it's done really well for those dudes. They seem to have. There's a few brands here even that have maybe gone into non-alcoholic like seltzers, like just like carbonated water seltzers. That I got a few brands out here that have really like just gone all in on those type of things, and I feel like Holmes has gone in on all that, and it works well.
That's just my thought because I I
you
feel
tried
like
them?
I have not. My
Oh,
neighbor is from Michigan. He was telling me about them. I was
Okay.
giving him some of our seltzers. He was like, "Have you ever tried this?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "It's fucking phenomenal." And I was like, "Well, we're trying to do seltzers, so why don't we branch?" In my head, I was like, "Why don't I branch out into something like this? You know, like a little bit different, something that people haven't done before, that is new and exciting." That isn't in the market yet that we can get into before anyone else tries to get into it.
That could be
Yeah.
interesting because I don't know
Yeah.
if there's anything else in New York State that is
No, there's
Not that
not.
I've seen.
similar.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like smoothies are they're I guess they're a little tough to distribute unless they're pasteurized. I think the main
Right.
Yeah.
Potassium sorbate.
Yeah, you
basically
can potassium sorbate it. Yeah, pretty,
sure whatever works
Yeah.
if you're able
Yep.
to do that, but that would be the main thing to be able to get it out there.
Or
would just be
even
to
a
get it pasteurized.
smoothie sour seltzer.
Well, I guess that's what they have, but it could be smoothie sour beer or seltzer. I
Or
guess either
sour
way.
the seltzer to make it a smoothie sour seltzer.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You actually
You know,
sour
the seltzer to get the pH even lower to make that, and then fruit it to make it
pasteurize
a
from
smooth.
there.
So
Yeah.
basically, having a smoothie sour beer but a seltzer.
Is that what smoothie is supposed to be?
I don't know. I have never had smooch. So I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, it is different. To
We
the
got
other
late night
foods,
drinks.
I
That I'm
guess.
just my mind is
No,
now.
dude, I'm with it. I think it's a great conversation.
But
'Cause
you
it could-
think about beer, and then now you're thinking about, well, what if they're gonna make a seltzer smoothie? Well, why
Yeah.
don't we just sour it?
That would be the optimal. I wonder if they sour it or if they just rely on the tangy tartness of the adjuncts that they put into it. Because I feel like it's not particularly sour. It has been
right.
a month or
It's
two
called
since I've had it.
smoosh.
SMOOJ.
Yeah, SMOOJ. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just says it's a hard, like it's like on the cans now. It says hard smoothie.
hard
Okay.
smoothie.
Yeah.
So is that language that would probably represent a hard seltzer meets a smoothie?
Yeah. They're kind of just like, it's basically, it's like almost carbonated fruit puree, essentially at that point. I think it's like something similar in that area, but alcoholic. And I've had them before. They're really good for me. Like the smoothie stuff, like it's just my own personal preference. It's like I'm good for like 8
What's
ounces.
the ABV?
Like
Well, that's
6?
always the hard thing. Yeah, because
6.
it's always I know like 450 North, and a couple other breweries kind of got like that do like the smoothies.
Yeah.
Got like dinged for their beers being way underproof.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like 8% on the can, and then they were like testing them, and they were like 4.5. There was like a couple. I don't know. I could be speaking way out of turn, but I thought there was something, because you're really, yes, I started with an 8% beer, and then I added all of this fruit puree.
Now your
ABV is, you're basically like kind of watering it down with fruit puree.
Yep.
So that's always like the hard thing is to nail those ABVs with those beers.
It looks like all the smooches are 5%, which sounds about right.
Yeah.
And they
so
still
we do
say
like a 9% smoosh.
Is that after fruit addition? Because I think this is my understanding is kind of what you were saying there, John. Is that like they would start at like 8-9%, then you add all the fruit and it brings it down to 5 to 6. Something like that.
That's kind of what I would think that they were doing, brewing like some higher gravity.
Yep.
And then kind of those
diluting it,
bring it down a little bit.
It's like in bright, so like dilating, doing like 8-9%, and then diluting it. I was told because there's a brewery here in Montreal called Brewski, and they're like one of the first who did like smoothie sour beers and stuff in Canada, and they were like sometimes they do an 8% after fruit, or like 10% after fruit, and like
Yep.
that's a big challenge for them to be able to do
I
that
can
on
imagine.
the hold, to try and like hold after the fruit addition, to hold it at 8%, to keep it at that is basically pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you guys say what is your percent, the ones that you guys do smooth?
So like our sours are usually, this is like our higher ABV sour, so this is 6%.
This is a banger.
But yeah, the other ones, you know, anywhere from 5 to 6, really.
Yep.
Mostly 5%.
Okay, which seems about right. This is 6%. So is this what do you guys add? Is this like filtered fruit puree?
So Jimmy actually started doing some stuff that a little bit different. We used to like really ferment all the fruit out, and now we kind
ferment the beer out.
Yeah, we ferment the beer out, but we were adding fruit during fermentation, all of it, and
which would dry the fruit out.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're fermenting the beer out lower than it would, and then adding the fruit, which would then bring the gravity to where it needs to be because of the fruit sugar content.
Okay. So then the base beer, what's the base beer at before the fruit addition?
It's going to be about
it 6.
It's going to be about 6, 7, 8%, roughly.
So not that much more than the final 6,
right? Yep. And then we sorbate it so it doesn't create more fermentation.
Excuse me. I haven't heard about that. This is a potassium sorbate. Is that what it is? Can you guys explain that real quick?
It's a food preservative, but it's also going to kill any fermentation of yeast. So any yeast that's left over in the beer or any product, that yeast is not going to be able to recreate fermentation.
Yeah, gotcha. So you're kind of inhibiting that. Okay, I left this beer in my car and then it got warm again and the yeast started acting up. You know, the yeast started being yeast, and then you get those exploding cans, which is why distributors have a tough time, and it's tough to have those like kind of smoothie sours if you sit on a warm shelf somewhere.
Yeah,
like over time they reactivate and you'll see cans just exploding.
Yeah.
So, and we always test all of our cans to make sure that, you know, throw them in a big bucket of hot water for a couple hours. And if they don't blow up in there, they're not going to blow up anywhere. So,
is that the next best thing to pasteurization?
Yeah, pasteurization is like number one. The pasteurizer is enormous to do post-fill pasteurization. And you're right, it's super expensive. Like they're like 30 by 100 feet. Some of them.
Oh yeah.
There's
a brewery.
It needs its own like wing of the brewery.
I've seen some insane ones, like Collective Arts. We were talking about that off air earlier. Yeah. Have you seen their one? It is.
Oh yeah.
Fucking.
It's massive.
It's massive. And I was at this brewery called Cowbell here the other week, and they just got theirs. I was like, I was like, is that a pasteurizer? I'm like, yeah, that's it. Like, the dude on the tour didn't even know what it was because it was that new.
Yeah.
And it was so big. I was like, oh, that's like a milli, bro. Like, you didn't even know how much this shit cost. This is fucking bonkers how expensive they are. So the hot water does kind of the trick. Like, if you're not like, if this isn't your key, because you can pasteurize everything, is probably for the better. But I mean, like, if you're not, I'd say, like, it sounds like the smoothies are definitely or any fruit scented beers are definitely there's a lot more benefit from doing that. But is it worth 7 figures in this economy? There's other ways to probably go about it, or you could offset it. You could contract out the pasteurization.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Especially because it doesn't really. It's not like you can like garner a higher price point if you do pasteurize. So you're pretty much just buying it, but there's no real return on your investment on on that. You're just
basically.
But a lot of people that are doing, the biggest ones for pasteurization is really alcohol is not, alcohol is going to be fine. It's got alcohol and it's got pH on its side. So you're never really going to, it's never going to make anybody sick. There might be off flavors, whatever the case may be, but, no one's going to get sick over it. A lot of times when you're bringing pasteurization in is when you start to work with non-alcoholic stuff. You're really trying to prevent any type of harmful bacteria ingress and botulism, essentially. Botulism was the biggest one that you're really killing with pasteurization. So,
I mean, that's probably a pretty important one to murder.
Yes, would not be a good thing. So,
not the greatest thing. I don't know a lot about it, but I know it's not a good word.
Yeah,
so
no,
that would make a lot of sense. But this one, so this is fantastic. I feel like this is one of the more intense, in the best possible way, fruited sour that wasn't mixed firm or anything like that, because it's got such an intense, tangy, tart, puckering sour vibe.
Yep.
Then almost similar to some sort of a mixed firm or barrel aged sour or something like that, which is. And this is beautiful, and there's so many different fruits in this. I think we counted 8 or whatever it was, 8 different berries. This is fun, and only 6%. Fuck, this is a great way to bring this home. I love it. Is this a flagship?
Yep. Yeah, this is a year-round core beer for us.
Okay.
So, but man, I wish mixed firm stuff would really start to come back. That was kind of the first stuff, I used to love. So I used to go to Swansea Day all the time in Buffalo for
nice.
My old boss had it at a bunch of his different places. So anything from Cantillon or Tilken or Hansens or Dre Fontaine, all of those big, Allagash Cool Ship series is incredible. Allagash, domestically in the United States, Allagash, I think, is my favorite, kind of mixed firm stuff that I could get regularly, outside of the imported stuff. It was really cool. I got the chance to go there, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, and got to do a private tour through the barrel room, and was there with Rob Todd, and he's pulling pins on Avance that's been aging on 4,000 pounds of strawberries, and just pulling pins and grabbing samples out of it was pretty cool. Seeing the cool ship room that they do is awesome.
That's so sick.
Yeah, I miss those. I miss those beers being a little bit more readily available.
I totally get it. One thing that is kind of nice is Allagash White. I didn't even really like that style that much, but if I see Allagash White anywhere, I'm getting that beer. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting it every single time, no question.
Breweries don't even make Belgian whites because they just can't do it as good as them. So they're I'm not even going to compete against it.
You know what? Living in Montreal for 10 years, so Unibrew, Blanche Assembly, was the local version of that as well, and I drank my fair share of that, and it's definitely a cool thing to have that, and it is a shame that breweries, even Jester King out in Austin, excuse me, now having to move a lot of their products to pilsners and IPAs to cans because the mixed firm stuff isn't moving like it used to.
Yeah,
gosh, but it sucks, man. But I don't know what it's like down there. There's a few breweries out here that excuse me, there's one specifically in town here called Barrel Heart that's killing it. All they do is barrel aged farmhouse, whether it's lagers, sours, whatever. I don't know why the fuck I'm hiccuping. And they're thriving. I'm like, okay. In a style that is I've seen so many breweries close because that's what they're doing. It's nice to see some that are just doing fantastic. in that world that, yeah, they're just such great beers, but maybe you don't, when I say you, meaning we as a culture, don't drink them as much as we should,
Yeah.
type of thing. Yeah. It's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I haven't
But
been drinking as many sours as I used to. All these years in the beer industry gives me a little heartburn now. I started getting the agita.
I mean, like, shit, bro. Welcome, all of us. I think it's a lot. It's a fucking lot, you know. So it's like if you can get the subtly, because it's like the ones that are like the barrel ones that are just piercing, like you just need tums as you drink them, or you got a bit more of the subtle, like, you know, that Hill Farmstead style, which is what I find that like Barrel Hard and a few other places. Yeah, there's just, if you're able to get hold of that or whatever, it's like cool, because if I go to their brewery, they're not too like 20-25 minutes from here. It's I can't drink anything else, and they don't have any haze. They do IPAs. They do fucking lagers and farmhouse sours for the most part, and they're delicate and they're more chill. And they got a Michelin guide food, so the food is exceptional, and it makes it so much like it's like a really nice experience. It's a little different to the average experience, but otherwise, like, you know, I imagine all three of us have a whole ton of barrel aged farmhouse and sours and stuff in the cellar that you need a special occasion to bust open, which is the main problem. It's probably why a lot of the breweries that specialize in that maybe aren't thriving at the level that they are, because it doesn't feel like a day-to-day drinker. It feels like a special occasion. I don't know if you can run a business off special occasions.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard now. I mean, unless you're Cantillon or Dre Fontaine, honestly, with like, it's hard to make a sustainable business out of that for sure.
Yeah, it really is. But this is this Berryman is fantastic, and it kind of hits like a nice level between. It's more intense than your average Berliner / fruited sour. But it's more chill than your average puckering us, you know, barrel aged sour. It's like a happy medium. This is going down like this is. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up in a couple of sips. But boys, I know I kept you guys nearly 3.5 hours here. You guys were both awesome. I really appreciate you both immensely.
Thank you, brother,
for sharing everything.
I appreciate it, man.
These beers are something, man. They're fantastic, and I appreciate you guys for sharing this with me. And
appreciate
you talking about them. I think this is something that, like, you guys got me excited about the brand. I feel like with you guys both sort of like, you know, at the helm here, like kind of guiding the direction. I'm very excited to see. We should do this next year and catch back up. I think this is super exciting, even from, you know, from Yonder, from that killer Westie. Like Peakfinder is just insanity, and I feel like if this really seems like it's these two beers at least, and then the direction that the brewery is going at in its infancy, and you guys seem really excited with the direction it's going, so that's making me excited, because I already think they're in a fantastic spot. And if you guys are unhappy, I'm like, oh, this is only going to be way more crazier. You got the Summit series, you got the Lake Placid spot. I mean, I'm so impressed. I'm really glad that you know, shouts to Crystal. I know she's left, but that reached out and made it happen. And I'm really happy I got to hang out with you guys, and I very much appreciate your time.
Same here.
This was super cool.
You guys are champions.
Love it.
And I definitely want to come visit you guys next time I'm in the area. And if either of you guys are up this way, please let me know, and let's grab some beers. And I'd be happy to introduce you to anybody, because I kind of feel I feel like there's a lot of killer haze folks up here, and I know obviously that's your thing, Jamie. I feel like you guys they would love to meet you, and I feel like there could be some really nice collaborations. And I feel like that's one thing that is exciting, both sides of the border. You know, if you got some New York State folks that see you guys collaborating with Canadian breweries and vice versa, it causes tourism both sides, and just that synchronicity and just sort of building these bridges in a time where shit's kind of fucked up. And I don't know, I'm not from either place, so I love everybody. I just want everyone to be thriving and people owning great businesses on both sides of the border that are just doing great things and just trying to survive and try and do a thing. I just, you know, I want to support that. I think it's really
honestly good. Let's try to put something together. You know, let's try to slowly start working something out.
I'm
That'd be
down.
great.
I haven't gotten back up to Canada in a while. I think it might be time to take a trip up to Hamilton.
Yeah. Off the
Boys.
record, the last time I was in Toronto was just to pick up seeds and bring them back across the border. But that was
It's off the
because
record.
before all that, Toronto was the place to go to grab some seed banks to get some nugs back up to plant.
You were just doing it the hard way all the time, Jimmy.
Yep.
Growing your own,
Yep.
brewing your own.
I was
Always.
going to Toronto, getting the seeds from Toronto, putting them under, going back to the border. I was doing everything. But Toronto was the best. You guys actually had peyote just fucking right on the windowsills.
I have never seen that, but that sounds fun.
No? Oh,
No,
wait, no.
I've never seen nobody with peyote on no
Really?
windows, but
I'll
never
show you.
personally. Yeah, please do it. You're gonna have to come through and show me. But I feel like the breweries out here will be really excited.
You guys still
to
have the
meet
seed
you guys.
banks?
I don't even know what that is. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, dude, they're used. Oh yeah, we'll do this.
We can talk. We can talk off air. You can explain it to me. Maybe I'm a little bit new or some shit. But I feel like there could be a big crossover. I think that the Canadian breweries would love to meet you guys and vice versa. I just feel like there's a lot of synchronicities that can happen, and one of the things that I love when I lived in Montreal, the Ontario and Quebec scenes weren't really talking as much, and it was always kind of like, what the fuck, come on, man, there's so much happening. I'm seeing more of that now, and I feel like almost more than ever it's arguably more important with anyone trying to separate people, where we're all human beings sharing this earth, and it's an imaginary line, and I don't want to see any division. And if we're able to just there's some killer people up here, there's some killer people down there, let's all just work together and just help each other just grow, because y'all come up here, we come down there. I was just there a few days ago. Like, fuck, man, this is what it is. It's beautiful. And I think you guys are an exciting new, even though not the newest brewery, because you've been around since 2019, 2020, but you're doing some phenomenal stuff that I can't go on about more, like particularly the haze. And I know that's what your passion is, Jimmy, as well. But it's just because I know you're the most proud of that. Like, obviously the Crispies are fucking awesome. Everything that we've had tonight, this sour was amazing. But if people are after the haze, that's what you guys are going to do. So we can chat about that. But gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, for hanging out, and for doing this. Stick around. We'll finish up off air. But where can everybody find Myers Creek online and in real life?
So obviously Myers Creek Brewing Company, MyersCreekBrewing.com. That'll take you right to our website. They've got, kind of like a beer finder on there. And then we've got our two locations, one in Cazenovia. That's kind of where the brewery and our kind of large tap room is. And then we've got our smaller tap room, tasting room, right in the city of Syracuse in Inner Harbor. And then, late spring next year, Lake Placid up in the Adirondacks. So
let's go. So if you're coming through, you're going straight south of Champlain, New York. You just keep cruising down Lake Placid, like the movie, but less horror, more fine beer.
Less crocodiles. Yeah.
Less crocodiles. Less. What else was it? Wasn't there something else crazy we looked at? I don't know.
There was like piranhas probably or something like that.
I remember that movie from the 80s. That shit fucked me up, dude.
Yeah.
When I first moved here, I was working for my friend, and he's one of us had another friend who worked for this like fish reptile store, and they had piranhas in the fucking tank.
Fuck that.
And you could just buy a piranha and have it. You had to separate it from all the different piranhas because they kill each other. I'm like, that is the most gangster shit I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't believe you could just go to a store and buy a piranha.
If you have a piranha as a pet, you're a fucking wild man.
I thought about it because I'd seen that movie in the 80s, 90s, whatever it was. I was like, yo.
I can see it.
I worked for a movie studio in Australia right before I left, and we had a movie that had some piranhas in it. I was trying to get some for like an event to try and put it together, and I couldn't get it out there. So then when I moved over and they had piranhas, I was like, yo, where you been at? What's up? Fuck, you do a piranha podcast. What the fuck it is? Gentlemen, stick around. We'll finish it up off air. But Jordan, Jimmy, thank you guys honestly so much for your time. I appreciate
you, buddy.
your insights, your expertise, and just the way you guys represented the brand. I think it's exceptional. I appreciate you both immensely for that.
Thank you,
folks.
Thank
Such
you.
a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you know when the new drops. Follow us everywhere at BAOS Podcast. Check out the long form audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars, not for me, for Jordan, for Jimmy, for Myers Creek, for Piranhas. That's what the fuck it is. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bye.
Yeah, everybody.